ASICS, sound mind, sound body. 365 days. 1 year until history is made. A lifetime of preparation that will lead us to the ultimate test. 365 days until we show the world what a sound mind and a sound body can do. See you in Paris.
Stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? You'll feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills, long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it. With stability, cushioning, and more comfort than ever in every step. Because nothing feels better than the adaptive stability and premium comfort of the Gel Kayano 30 shoe.
All right, welcome back to CITIUS MAG live at Worlds Day 8. We're almost there, Kyle. Presented by ASICS. It's been this morning. We were at I was at the marathon out on the course. You were watching. We did a watch along party, and tomorrow we'll get to rock all of our ASICS gear as we run in it was supposed to be a community 10K. It's been shortened to a 6K.
Yeah, I asked for that. Yeah.
You asked.
Put it in the request. I was like, what if we did less?
Yeah. And the apparel looks awesome. Mac, throw that shirt over to me. We'll show the camera real quick. This is going to be like my souvenir that I'll take away from the World Championships. Nice red ASICS World Championships 2023 shirt.
Speaking of souvenirs, I'm having a big conundrum. Also, we have a guest sitting next to us. I don't even know if he's been on screen yet, but we'll get to you, Cole. Big problem right now is I got last year a little stuffed legend doll from Eugene, and I wanted to get a little stuffed Yoo-Hoo doll for my daughter as a, this is where your dad's been, if you remember him. And they've apparently been such a hit that they sold out of them really quickly, but we might be getting a new shipment in. So that's, right. I don't know.
That's going to be
your
takeaway.
I'd share. Yeah, that's my takeaway. Cole Hocker is joining us. Just finished 7th in the 1500 meter final here at World Championships. You're taking away with you a new personal best.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, definitely like a lot of good takeaways from the race so far, but yeah.
Overall, I mean, like, there's people out there calling it the greatest 1500, one of the best ever. I mean, you've been at the Tokyo Olympics and you've been in this race. I mean, how did the two kind of compare from your experience?
Yeah, that's like a big takeaway from this meet, because it's hard to get into these global level races, especially when, like, last year I was injured. I mean, that completely takes you off the world rankings. Like, you're dreaming if you think you're going to get a Diamond League. And I learned that the hard way. Last year it was humbling. And then this year, dealing with injuries as well, but, getting back to this level and getting into another global championship like that is a really good opportunity. And each time I've done a big race like that, whether it's Prefontaine or Tokyo or here, I come away with it learning a lot. And comparing it to Tokyo, I just immediately after the race told my coach, I was like, Tokyo, I felt like I was getting drug along. Like, I felt like my head was back, like when I kick, my head goes back, but I felt like that was back from like 800 into the race in Tokyo. And in here, I felt like on top of it, like the entire time. And that's really a good thing for my confidence, I think, going forward, just because I was ready to make moves. There was some tactical errors that's easy to look at now in retrospect, but yeah, coming off of that compared to Tokyo, that race was way better. And, I ran faster at a place worse, but I think that just shows like the level now. And also comparing it to Tokyo, that field was destroyed. Like, it was just a string of get who you can. And here it was like everyone's there with 200 to go. It's pretty cool.
What do you attribute that difference in the last 2 years? The ability to actually be in the race rather than just holding on for, the last 800.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say right now. One thought is I was coming off of a very long collegiate season. And I think college athletes, speaking from experience, you can be so sharp, like just race so often. I think you saw that with Wascom this year. Like I had a feeling going into USA's, I was like, that's probably someone I want to look out for because I know that feeling. Like you're just sharp. But then Worlds was a month and a half after that. And it's like at a certain point, it does catch up to you. And I think that might have happened at Tokyo a little bit, even though I was really confident, feeling really good. And I still ran 331, but this year, even a more truncated season, injuries were just now coming into form, I feel like. Yeah.
Did you have a chance before the final to go back and watch the other heats, or was it just focusing on your own race and then approaching the final based off of what you know from the field from, some of these other Diamond Leagues that you competed in?
Yeah. You mean like, did I watch like the heats here?
The other heats.
Yeah. I watched Yared's heat was right before mine at the semi. I was like, yeah, he looked strong. He ran it from the front. Like, obviously, like I think everyone knew that he was going to be in there. But I don't think there's that much to take away from the heats, like in studying those. I definitely watched last year's Worlds. And I think it played out very similar. As far as the field was there, Josh Kerr, obviously, like another British guy beating Yakov in the same manner. Like it's pretty identical to last year, comparing those races. And I wanted to run that race. My plan was to run it a little differently than what happened, but studying those definitely helped and get my mind where it needed to be.
Of course, coming in, especially once you're in the final, you probably wanted a medal or, you're a fighter, you probably wanted to win. But now that a few days have passed, and especially looking at the whole scope of the season and, where it started and where it's ended up, how are you feeling about 7th in a personal best?
Yeah, that's a big thing. That's my big takeaway from this whole championships. Just like 7th, if you would have told me that in March when I wasn't running on land, like that would have made me so happy. Like, and it's just crazy. Like I was down, like I was really down for like a couple months there because it just like sucked. And all I wanted to do, like last year watching Worlds, I was like, as long as I'm healthy, like it made me realize like as long as I'm healthy and I can just compete, then I'm happy. And I was able to compete here. And yeah, once I got through USA's, I'm like, oh, I want a medal. Like I want to get gold as well. Like, why would I not? And then you go through the rounds and yeah, we're all competitors. And I switched my mindset to I'm fully healthy. I'm fully where I need to be. I'm fully fit. Like, yeah, I think a medal was possible, like even where I'm at right now, and how I felt in the race. But, everything's got to be perfect. But yeah, I'm happy considering it all. Like 7th is awesome.
That's like a flip of the switch a little bit. Whereas, the first race out in Portland, you go in, you're like, I just want to run 338. And then you run 334. Mm-hmm. Is that when it's like, all right, stop being focused on the injury. We're back to competing.
Yeah. And yeah, that race in Portland was honestly, like, sounds funny, but I feel like it was a gift from God. Like I was like a fraction under that world standard. And I didn't run a 15 after that. I probably would have, obviously, to get that standard, but I went into that race just like I was telling myself, like, this is probably just going to be bad. Like, just get it, get it done with. Like, I had not done any real workouts up until that point. And yeah, just like kind of the same thing, like flip of the switch mindset in the race. I just like felt like myself, like 400 to go. Like I was just holding on. And then I was like, just like the competitor mindset changed. And yeah, I was able to run pretty fast there. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy.
I guess that like this is a world final. The moments beforehand, I'm sure, you're still young and this is only, your second global championship final. In terms of nerves, are you more nervous there or that June 4th race in Portland, Oregon, where you're thinking like, I don't know how this can go?
Yeah, without a doubt. I would say way more nervous at USA's.
Okay.
Like tenfold. Just like there's all like now when you're pro, there's money on it. And obviously, like, I don't do this for the money. Like,
It's awesome, isn't it?
It's awesome.
It's sick to get more money.
Exactly. And not lose money. Like,
Yeah.
that's even worse.
Also very motivating.
Yeah.
Don't lose money.
But yeah, like that first race, super nerve wracking. And up till now, like, I feel like my back's been against the wall this season. Just like mentally, I feel like I've been clawing through this season, just like doing what I can. Like that first race in Portland, I was like, just go out there. It's going to be like dirty, like be gritty and get it done. And, good result came of that. And then I got in some 800s like the next following weekends. And I was like, yeah, 800 is always hard, especially when you're not fully in shape. Like that, just like so jarring, that speed for me. And I just like kept getting it done. And, at USA's, I felt like my back was against the wall again. I was like thinking, just as like a competitor and athlete, you try to filter out all those negative thoughts. And like a lot of it comes from how you think people perceive you. Like I don't want to miss 2 global championships in a row. Like I know how good I am as an athlete, and that's just not where I saw my career going at all. And of course you can't control some things in the sport. I've learned that now, but yeah, back against the wall at USA's, and I got it done, and it was a huge relief. And then moving on to here, like I felt the same way. I was like, I didn't come all the way this way not to make it out of the first rounds. And then I was like, in the semi, I'm feeling really good going into it. I need to make that final again. And then in the final, same thing. I want to get a medal, but yeah, that's just the way it goes.
How much confidence did you take from, this is a pretty often overlooked result between USA's and now? You ran a 3K, personal best 7:42 for outdoor. Now for you, I guess, like, what did you take away from that made you feel like you were ready for Worlds?
Yeah, that was big. Because my training partner, James Gormley, paced me through 2K, which was a huge help. Like I didn't do it completely solo, but that last K was completely solo. And yeah, I ran 7:39 indoors. I know I can run a faster 3K than that, but doing that solo in like the middle of a training week, that was really good. Because we like to do a 5K or over distance at some point in the build up, and like I said, like with this truncated season and build up, we didn't get to hit all those areas we wanted, and so that was kind of an effort to get that over distance. And I think it went really well. And I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, 7:42 is pretty good doing it mostly solo.
In the beginning of your career, and you might say otherwise, but you made it look kind of easy. Like coming successful high school career, beginning of college, it was just like, yeah, Cole's really talented. Like maybe it wasn't easy. It was really fun to watch. And then after Tokyo, you finally hit some bumps in the road along the way. And now you've proven that you can come back from bumps in the road. How foundational is that year going to be in the long term of your career? Because you're 21?
I'm 22.
22? Yeah. So you've got a while left to go. So how important will that be in the long term?
Yeah, you were watching Worlds last year from the stands.
Yeah. That was, without going into it, that was super painful.
Yeah. Really?
I hated that.
You can go now.
Yeah. Like that to add to not making Worlds that year was in my back, like 2 blocks from my house in USA for the first time. It was just not ideal. But there was a lot of, introspective moments of the past year and a half. Like what you said, having like a perfect build up in 2021. I call that a perfect season. And then looking at the next year, far from perfect. And then this year is not horrible, not fantastic. And I do feel like I've been rounded out as an athlete. The sport's humbling. I think everyone has their time. If you haven't been humbled yet, you will be. And you will be multiple times. And I just think that makes me so much better. Yeah.
Unbelievable right now, just the depth of the 1500. I mean, you look at London, how fast every single guy ran. What is the margin of error, or like what is the difference between the guys who are finishing first and the guys who are maybe not even making the final here? Like, especially when everyone's final 1,500 bests are so close together.
Yeah, I think, like I said, comparing that race to Tokyo is should be really eye opening. Like the field was way strung out in Tokyo. The winning time wasn't that, it was half a second or so faster. And then you look at this race and everyone's there with 100 to go. But yeah, I think there's guys that I was looking at the start list going into the meet, and I'm like, there's a lot of guys. There's way more than 12 guys here that are world final caliber runners. I was like, oh, it's not going to be me. That doesn't make it.
It's going to be someone, but it ain't me.
So you just that just should show you how tight it is. And it's easy to say after the race is done, but just being in the race and feeling it, there's just some split second decisions that you can make, and I feel like I could make that separates that from a 7th place to a podium finish. I was right behind Kerr, 400 in, and I told myself in the race, stay behind him and he'll get to the front. And I don't know what happened. I lost him.
But it is funny if you watch the race. It's very all of a sudden Josh is at the front. I lost him too.
And you're not the first person. I think Yard was sitting in your seat and also told us he was watching Josh. Josh disappeared and now he's up in the front.
So it's those decisions that separate winning gold or finishing out of the top 5 or top 10. And yeah.
What's the first thing Ben said to you when you spoke to him after finishing?
I think he said so close, but he was really happy with it. I think he just knows what I can do. And I think he just meant so close to executing perfectly. The first 2 rounds were perfectly executed. And yeah, I think he was happy with it. He's happy with the way I ran it. I think he just knows what I can do, and he's just got to go for it. But we're both learning. So
sometimes when you enter college, it's kind of this idea of you run for a coach, right? You're a teenager, bright eyes, you show up and it's you want to run for that coach. You want to impress him. You want to show him how good you are, that you're worth that scholarship. But then when you're a professional, it kind of shifts a little bit more to being a partnership and a little bit more back and forth and working together. When did that happen? Because you were still new in your relationship together when you decided to turn professional.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. When I got to Oregon, I wanted to impress him. I wanted to impress my teammates also. And that's one thing I always say he was really good at, was easing me into that training and not just throwing me to the wolves. But yeah, now it's been 4 years now with him as my coach. And it's changed, it's shifted, but at the same time, all my training partners were coached by him in college as well. So it kind of just feels like we still have the same dynamic, pretty much. I think just gives us a little bit more freedom, knows that we're not being made to do this, that we want to do this, which is good. But yeah, he's always there at practices. He's hands-on, but at the same time, he's not going to, critique things that don't need to be critiqued. I see some coaches doing. He just lets us run. He knows how we run, how we perform best, and he just lets us come into ourselves like that.
I was just wondering, I was looking through to the guys who finished ahead of you, because I was thinking, man, it's tough being an American 1500 guy, because you really do have to peak at USA's and then find a way to train and then peak again here. Whereas there maybe I think 2 or 3 of the guys ahead of you were just named to the team. And it's sort of do you ever kind of think about that, where it's sort of man, it's tough to just why couldn't, obviously the pride of being an American and representing the US, but it's sort of if other countries have it easier.
100%. Yeah.
It's that was a 329 if you didn't have 2 hard races under you.
Yeah. No, I think every U.S. athlete, and mostly British, the 15 team is equally is hard to make, if not harder. But even there, they have selections as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've definitely talked about that with some Team USA athletes, teammates. We're like, oh, it's so easy. Like some people already like know they're going to Paris, and I'm like,
must be nice.
it must be nice because USA athletes got a long way to go, and you gotta prove it like a month before the time that you actually really want to prove it. But also at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, the pride of being US. Like I would obviously not want to do any other country, but you're ready. And you do have to peak for USA's, but I think there's a way to do it. Obviously, if you're good, and you're going to make the team, and you're going to keep getting good.
We always talk about your races. You know, I see you in the mix zone afterwards, but I'm curious to know you as a trainer. Like, are you a good training partner? Do you like training, or you're just here for the racing?
I think I'm a good training partner.
Call in, yeah.
Actually, yeah, you could ask him, but yeah, I don't think I'm no workout warrior or anything. That's another, like, we don't do crazy reps, crazy times. I think someone asked me, like, some reporter asked me after one of the rounds about a workout I did, and it was like a 220K, which is like a ton of people do that. Like you can do that, but it was within a workout, and it was a couple weeks ago, and I was like, this feels like really relaxed. And it's kind of how our sessions are. It's not, you don't bust out like a 217 or something and run something crazy. But yeah, I enjoy training. Like I enjoy the grind, and having some time not racing. Like I can get into that if I have a 3-week block of training. I can put my head down and dial in on all the little things. I enjoy that part of it. But I really like racing. Like that's where most of the fun comes from.
So now I guess, like, obviously you looked at this race pretty hard when it came to, figuring out training plans and peaking. The rest of the season, I guess, like, what do you want to try and accomplish?
Yeah, I think
you got a couple Diamond Leagues, more experience.
Yeah, it's been, I wasn't confirmed for Zurich until after the final. They really made me work for it. But understandably so. It's like everyone's good and everyone wants to get into that race. But yeah, like I said, I want to optimize those chances, those opportunities, because they're not handed to you. And so I really want to go after something really fast, but also just run a good race. Like I think I learned so much from a race a couple days ago, and where I see myself finishing in a race like that. And just based on how I felt, I feel like I have a lot more there. And that was like it wasn't an even split race as well. And if you look at most of the super fast Diamond League, they're much more evenly split. And so I think the right race, it can be a really fast time. But I just really want to compete as well. Yeah.
So you just ran a personal best in the 1500. Which of your personal bests, everyone has one, which personal best do you hate the most? Where you're like, I just want, like, get rid of that one.
I have them right here in front of me.
Mine?
Yeah. So
what's your least favorite?
So I think my 800.
You can go like 143.
Yeah.
And you're like, why have I not
146 as of right now.
The 800s are really frustrating for me. Like, at least this is the past like month or like 3 months where if I can run 330, I'm like, I know I can run so much faster than that.
The problem is you always do it when you're in like full training. Right?
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
You're never peaking for the 8.
Yeah. Yeah. So that one is really getting on my nerves. I think 146 was really good for like my 2021 season. I was like, okay, 146, and I ran like 13. Well, that season I ran like 13:19, and then I ran 13:08 last season. And I also would like, I think I can go sub 13 in the 5K, with just focusing on that a little bit more. That would be really nice just to get under that. That'd be cool to be in the club of whatever.
Sub 145, 330, 13 flat club.
Yeah.
I think that's like Legat.
Yeah.
I think that's like legitimately like Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
actually, Bernardo got did he do that in the 8 as
Oh
an
no,
American?
yeah, he didn't run under 145 in the 8. That is a very, very
I think there's like 10 or 11 people
someone in the,
In the
chat.
world.
all time. Yeah.
I'll do some research.
Yeah, we'll follow up and we'll let you know who's in the club. Yeah, but I mean, you would be a really unique athlete.
I feel like I'm on the cusp of
Yeah.
all of those times.
Yeah.
Obviously you have to focus on that one event, and you got to be striking on that day to get it each one of those. But yeah,
Never ran under 13.
Yeah. Bernard Lagat's actual 800 meter PR is just 146 flat.
Right.
From 2003. So before the allegiance switch too.
So right now, do you feel really fresh because you had that late start to the season? Like some people are holding on for dear life coming into the world champs, even though they're supposed to be peaking. With the late start, you're like, all right, like I could do this for another few months.
yeah, I think just coming off of 3 races, just like a little banged up, but yeah, just again the way I felt in the final, like I felt fresh in that race, and yeah, I feel fresh now. I've only raced a handful of times at like actual race effort, so yeah, that gives me a lot of confidence. Like especially if everything goes smoothly until pre, that's even like a little bit from now, over 2 weeks from now. So, in that amount of time, you can dial in on some more stuff, and yeah, I'm really excited to keep going forward.
When we had Yared on here, it went in so many different directions, and we talked about just sort of like the day of the race, like the 15 final, waking up. There's a lot of time to kill. What are you doing in that time? He said his roommate was gone. He wasn't watching TV. He was reading his book and playing the Rubik's Cube for hours. What were you doing?
I told this to my girlfriend. I think I set a record for like the most YouTube shorts, Instagram reels. It was just straight brain rot like all day. I actually like hated it. It's too much time to kill. And sometimes I read a book, but even that, like I couldn't get myself to read a book. I was just like, I don't want to think about anything. I just like let my brain just stroll through these reels for hours.
I feel like I brought so many books on trips to like racing. It's like on the day of, like it's way too much work. You need to become a vegetable.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, my brain's like working when I'm reading. I can't have that.
Even watching like Law and Order is too much because you're like, who did it?
No. Yeah, it's bad when I catch myself listening to a podcast and scrolling through. I'm like, okay, I gotta eliminate one of these. This is actually so bad. So yeah, I'm trying to put my phone down now. After that, I feel like just with the rounds too is just the same thing on those days. It was bad.
Are you going to the track now and cheering everyone on? And
I haven't been since the race. I was probably gonna go tonight, but I was just like finally seeing Budapest like the past 2 days.
We haven't had a chance to do
Yeah.
that.
is it nice?
It's pretty nice. I went to a church. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's some like churches and caves and stuff. There's some up on the mountains. There's a whole world out there, Chris. We've just
seen hotel and track, and that's it.
Are you a good traveler? Do you like, you spent a decent amount of time in Europe this summer.
Mhm.
Or are you a homebody? Like just
I like traveling. I like setting up shop somewhere. When it's like here, like since I've been here, I feel like I've been living out of my my suitcase a little bit, and that I don't like. But like I was in Belgium for like 2.5, 3 weeks before coming here, and that was pretty nice because I could set up, I could put all my clothes out and then just chill. But like I don't like being on like go. So I'll be ready to get home after Zurich.
I love that you went to Leuven, right?
Mm-hmm.
what'd you think?
I thought it was cool. Got
We
the
love
job
Leuven.
done. Yeah.
It was like Leuven used to be the place that all the Americans would set up camp, and then everyone got really bougie, and now it seems to be going to St. Moritz. So I like the fact that you were in Leuven. You got to just spread the word among the rest of the current 1,500 guys, and say, hey, let's bring it back to Leuven. It's just tradition that we want to see come back.
You're not an altitude guy, huh?
Oh, not yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I see an untapped variable right there.
What
But
about double threshold, completely untapped?
yeah, I don't even know what that is. But
I don't get it either.
I don't see what's all the rage.
I don't know if there's a name for the training we do, but it's unorthodox. But at the same time, like if someone's gonna keep it old school, it's gonna be Ben Thomas and our
Wait,
group.
walk me through your warm up, because I think that's one of the more unique things that your crew does, right?
Yeah. So we just pretty much, I don't know if I want to give away everything, but
Tell me, I'll give a general understanding is that you're jogging and doing drills and stride.
Yeah.
It's like you're doing lots of back and forth,
No.
whereas most people are just like, you go jog, you do a couple strides, and you step on the track.
yeah, no one's going to steal the warm up and get super fast. So. But
I don't think that's the difference maker.
About
You got other stuff.
jog a half mile, do some drills, jog again, do some drills, and then like more of a tempo, like 1K. Yeah. And then some
in
more
220.
drills. That's funny though. I actually set a record warming up for the final on my fastest 1K.
Really?
Yeah, I ran 250 and I was like, okay, I'm excited obviously.
Yeah.
But usually it's like 3:10.
Yeah.
But I got out hot.
That's like you knew you were firing.
Yeah. I was like, yeah,
250 feels like 310. You're ready to go.
Yeah, felt good.
We had our stats and research department look into this, the 145, 330, 13-minute club, and it's Sid Owita, right? He's and Augustine Chogi. Those are the only two people who.
No way. All right. Cole Hocker coming soon.
Yeah.
Number 3. Mo Farah hasn't done it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, the one so that's the 800. Yeah, I was thinking of there's a 3K, 5K, 15. Where like
that's
10 people have done
Whiteman, I think, is on it.
It's like sub 3
Jakob.
or yeah, sub 330, sub 13, and sub 730. Yeah.
This one's really impressive.
Nordine Morcelli has like a really impressive range of, so someone to chase after. Well, you're going to do it soon enough because the way you're closing races, there's no way you can't get under 145.
That's how I feel.
We had more doubts around Yared at the beginning of the season when he went out to California.
Which in retrospect was so stupid. Like, why would we be like, I don't know if he can run under 150. Like, he's closing races in 146, 147. We don't know what we're talking about. You know that. Never take anything we say very seriously. Take it with a grain of salt.
What excites you, I guess, about just kind of like this crop of 1,500 guys? I mean, you, Wascom, Yared, like that could be the team again next year. But then there's always fighters that Johnny Gregorek.
Young bunch.
Yeah, you'd never rule out Matt Centritz. What I guess, like for you, I guess, what is the camaraderie like among the three of you?
It's good. Yeah, I think I got to talk to Joe a little bit, and I felt like I was on the other side of. I feel like I was been in his position.
Yeah. You're finally giving other people advice.
Exactly.
Huh?
Yeah.
The tables have turned.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I was able to talk to him about, he's obviously looking at going pro or staying at UW and stuff like that. And I was there obviously. And just after my sophomore year, and I felt like I had so much more to do at Oregon, but at the same time, like I wanted to tell him I did tell him, I think everyone in this sport, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Like that's like my big takeaway from the whole pro, signing all of that. Cause there's only so many opportunities in this sport, and I have just seen it too many times. Like it sucks, if you miss out on an opportunity for money, like in this sport. So yeah, I was able to talk to him about that. And, but yeah, it's exciting. Like, I think it's cool having Yared pushing USA as well. Like just fast times and global contenders. I think that's really cool. And just having a solid team. Because staying with Team USA in the hotel, like you realize all the sprints, they're all competing for medals. They're competing for gold. And I'm like, I want the distance to be like that as well. Like sprints are always going to get medals. Distance, rare. So I think having a good group like that is just going to push USA further.
Who's like the one, like if people heard it's like, oh, Cole Hocker is best friends with blank from the Team USA, not in the distance events, like who's that surprise friend that people are like, oh, they met and like they're good friends now? Is it Fred?
I like Fred. I don't know if we're best friends.
Fred came on here. He couldn't stop talking about you.
I bet, yeah. What were his takeaways from the 15, how it played out?
He actually does fire off
He
a
likes
couple 1,500 tweets every now and then.
Everyone loves the 15.
Yeah.
How could you not?
Yeah, Fred's probably my favorite sprinter right now, especially USA. Because even when I was at Oregon, he'd hit me with like a fire emoji in the DM, and I was like, "Let's go."
The blood emoji.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I always appreciate that.
Nice. Well, Cole, we appreciate you taking the time for this. So Zurich and then Diamond League final, lots of exciting stuff, in your future, not just, this season, but next year as well. And we'll be rooting for you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me.
See you in Paris.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Coming up next, we've got Shamier Little sitting down with Caitlin Hutchison and Shamier's here. We've got Shamier Little sitting down with Caitlin Hutchison and Jasmine Todd.
A6. Sound mind, sound body. 365 days. 1 year until history is made. A lifetime of preparation that will lead us to the ultimate test. 365 days until we show the world what a sound mind and a sound body can do. See you in Paris.
Stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? You'll feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills. Long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it. With stability, cushioning, and more comfort than ever in every step. Because nothing feels better than the adaptive stability and premium comfort of the Gel Kayano 30 shoe. Stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? You'll feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills. Long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it. With stability, cushioning, and more comfort than ever in every step. Because nothing feels better than the adaptive stability and premium comfort of the Gel Kayano 30 shoe.
Hey y'all, welcome back. As you guys can see, we switched our host up a little bit. So Jasmine Todd and David Melly back. And today we got Shamier Little. Hey girl. So 400-meter hurdles.
Yes.
It's been a process since 2015 where you made your first team. We made our first team in 2015.
First team, Beijing. I still remember that like it was yesterday.
Oh my gosh. So if you could compare 2015 to now, what is the difference of Shamier?
The intentionality, the mindset, I just feel like I'm just in a whole completely different realm, like just mentally, physically. Like I feel like that was kind of like the end of my season, and then this is just like a piece of my season. Like I still got Diamond League final, but it's just different. It's just so much different. I think back and I was looking at the pictures from when I medaled, and I was just like, I got the medal, and I was just like, ooh, like I'm tired. Then I got the medal here, and my eyes are like big like saucers. I'm just like, oh my goodness. And then someone was like, it's been 8 years. I'm like, dang, like
Why they gotta say it like that?
why, like,
dang,
why you gotta say it like that? 8 long, hard years of freedom, finally. I'm like, okay, y'all.
Like that. You ain't gotta throw it in my face like that. Like,
Yes.
relax. I'm gonna need Father time to relax just a little bit.
I like them a little bit because I'm really just
I like
aging
getting
like
up.
fine wine.
You
but
aging like fine wine,
I
girl.
am.
Can we talk about it?
Yes,
Because
please.
Shamier done came on. Lashes gang. The lashes are done.
Yes.
You got your hair cut. You've been
Yes.
wearing makeup.
Yes.
What
yes.
made that change? Was it just you getting older and you're like, let me get my grown and sexy on?
Say
Kind of
goodbye to the bow.
somewhat. Yeah,
Yeah,
say
the
goodbye
bow's
to the bow.
gone.
So it's kind of just like, just dabbling in the things and, into my femininity. And like, I'm not really big on lashes, but I tried the lashes and I hated them at first. And then they grew on me. They start falling. I'm like, okay. Makeup. I just love when my skin is just like glowing and popping and bright and just like, that's just something I've just been getting into. Not too much, but like just dabbling and having fun. And I'm excited to see like what I dabble in more as I just like really come into myself.
I love this for you.
Yeah.
We I saw a nice clip of Rashida Adeleke fixing her makeup in the cart on the way over.
Period.
Yeah.
Like looking in the
So do
mirror,
you have
like
that moment when you're between the call room and the cart, like you're like, oh shoot, like I got.
it's
I'm about to go on
critical.
camera.
These photos are like gonna last forever. You Google somebody's name and this is what you were at World Championship. So I'm not mad at
is
that.
Facts. I be feeling bad sometimes.
All
for
them
some
cameramen
people.
out there.
Sometimes you be having some rough pictures and you're just like, why is this on the internet?
Why is
Take it
this on the
down.
internet? And they won't take it down. And people like post you on Instagram like, oh, these are the rankings, and it'll be pictures when you was just looking crazy at me. Like, take this down right now.
Like, why y'all gotta keep this evidence?
That's why as I get older, I'm like, oh, I gotta be intentional, like head to toe. So especially with the sport, it's really changing. Like it's a glam show now too. So it look
really
good,
is.
you feel good, you run good.
Period. I say that all the time. You gotta look good to feel
Yes.
good, perform good, get out there, maybe come out with a PR, a win,
PR,
a
all
medal.
that. I ain't mad at it.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Speaking of though,
yeah.
a couple of these rounds, we were holding our breath in the stands over those last couple hurdles. Walk us through how you were feeling.
I know I be stressing everybody out. I be stressing everybody out. Like people like, oh, I love you, but I just couldn't come to the meet because I was like, girl, I understand because I stress y'all out. I understand. But I know y'all just really like booty cheeks clenched. Like y'all really just want me to get through. And I want y'all to know that I am calm. Like I hope y'all chill out because I'm chilling out too. But just these last 3 hurdles, I feel like I've been known like that's my strength. And for whatever reason, like recently, I think at the Tokyo, you get a little PTSD. You clip that hurdle and it's just like that's all in your mind replaying. So you kind of like just going over the last 3 hurdles, I have to like dial back like this is my strength. I do not need to be scared of where I dominate at. And so once I clear like hurdle 8, I feel like it's on, like it's just on and popping. So
On like Donkey Kong out
yes,
there.
on like Donkey Kong. It's getting a little, I'm like really just clenching. My eyes wide open because I'm like, I need to see every single inch of this bar. I need to clear this hurdle as clean as possible and I need to make it through this finish line.
Do you prefer when somebody is like getting out really hard, like right to your inside or outside, or do you want to like be able to control, run your own race from the start?
I want to be able to control and run my race from the start, whether somebody's on the inside of me or whether somebody's on the outside of me. That's kind of been the focus in like training. Like we train as a group. So it's like, okay, I'll lead reps or people take turns leading reps. But at the end of the day, I've really been learning to just control what I control, worry about my own race and how that feels for me and not focus on somebody else or running off of somebody else. Cause I always say like, you really got to learn how to run your own race because you busy. You worried about running off of this person worried about running off this person running off the next person. It's like you done put yourself last in the line, worried about everybody else. And that's really where like you can really go wrong, especially in the 400, as if it isn't already mental enough. And now you sitting here, you piling more onto your plate, worried about 7 other people. And it's like, don't nobody got time for that.
And I mean, you just mentioned your training group. So you're now over in Arkansas with such a talented group. There's a whole bunch of y'all out here.
It's quarter horse stable over there.
Like it's a grip of y'all out here, quarter house, like y'all jump crew, like y'all doing the thing. What's in the sauce over there?
I don't know. It's just not too much going on. It's really just not too much going on. And it's everything that you need. Like people be like, Arkansas, like what's in Arkansas? I'll be like, enough.
Track. That's what's
right. It's the track capital of the world. So it's just like, I don't know, man. It's special. I listen to, other people, training groups, collegiate, whether it's professional, and I just learn. I like learning about people in their training environments. I'm just nosy too, but not like too nosy, but just learning. Like people always talk to me and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'm just like so thankful. I'm like, we really have like a perfect setup and it shows. Like, I don't know how many medals we bring home, but like at least 3 or 4 coming back to Arkansas.
It's kind of
from different training groups within the training camp.
Within your training camp.
Yes.
That training, I cannot tell you enough how crazy between y'all and Florida. Like,
yes.
I'm like, those are the 2 powerhouses of it all.
Yes.
So with this season, how intentional have you been? Because you started off indoors and you were running 600. So I'm sure there was a plan behind all of this. Obviously, it paid off because you got a whole medal out here. So what was the intention behind indoors and the overspeed? Well, not overspeed, longer races.
Yes. This year was just very intentional, especially for me. It was kind of like, I feel like in previous years, I'm always waiting. Okay, what coach, what we doing? What we doing with this? Or just kind of like sitting and just sitting and, just sitting in the passenger side. But no, as I get older, I'm like, okay, I got to put my big girl panties on. I got to now I'm coming to coach. I'm like, ooh, I wrote out my goals. I've never write out my goals. Wrote out my goals. Just really stepping up to the plate and just taking the reins on my season. Yes, it's a collaborative effort with me and coach, but ultimately, I know what I want and what I want to do and what I need. And of course I run it by coach, but just intentional, nutrition, training, how I wanted my season to go. I was like, I want to do more 400s this year. It's just been a rhyme and a reason for everything that I've been doing. And it just makes me feel like but am like moving in the right direction, as opposed to just like just going along with the flow. You doing this and I don't want to do it, and then I do it and I feel like I'm doing stuff for everybody else, and it's like, no, this is my legs getting on the track. This is my season. This is my career, and I really need to step up, and I really need to take more control of what I'm doing. This is my destiny.
Period.
Seems like you and Britton are two of the runners that really come at the 400 hurdles from like a strength-based perspective. You know, you don't see Femco running any 800s out there in the indoor season. You know, is that the training meeting the athlete, or the athlete meeting the training? Is that your coach looking at your tools and your skills and saying that this is how we're going to approach it? Or are you kind of coming into the system knowing that you're adapting to the plan that he's set out for you?
Ooh, I feel like it's a little bit of both, because I feel like I was more on the speed side of hurdles coming from Texas A&M with Vince Anderson. And then I came to Coach Johnson and we had these repeat 400s, and I was just like taken aback. So it took me a while to kind of like trust into it. And he always say, I will never give you anything that I don't think you can handle. So he giving me these workouts, and in my mind, I'm like, God damn. But like in his mind, he like, oh, she can do this with no problem once she wraps her mind around it. And then I feel like once I began to like really just lock in COVID year, I think that was the most important year for me, because it really just allowed me to, it didn't even allow me, it gave me no choice but to dial in and to do what was being asked of me. Like we joke about like COVID, we were running repeat 400s. Like you couldn't really get me to finish a workout like that. But during COVID, we running outside on the trail, and I'm like, we can't lay down. We don't want nobody walking past us, breathing COVID on us. So we standing up, we like walking, and then me and Talia, we would still reflect like, dang, we just did the workout that we couldn't do, but and it's just like, man. So it's kind of like me meeting the training and the training meeting me. And I think it's just like, the timing has been perfect. And Coach Johnson has done a really good job of like making me a more well-rounded 400 hurdler athlete in general. Like just my range from the 2, even though I don't do it as much, to like the 8, like that's crazy. And then not even just like the 8 at meets, the 8 in practice. So it's just like, he really just like, shout out to Coach Johnson.
When you're running those 8s, what goes through your head?
It just depends on the 8 and what's going on. Indoor 8, I'm like, oh my goodness, all these laps. Outside 8, it's just like, just stay in it, stay focused, because the minute you panic, like it's a wrap. It's a wrap. But I remember running the 800 with one of my training partners, Paris, and she took us through in like 57. And when I'm running, I see the clock, I looked away, I said, you know what, I'm not even about to do this. And she took us through 57, and I just looked at the clock and I looked away, because I know I cannot get wrapped up in the fact that we just came through 57. I mean, I finished, I had a PR, that was like my first time running it outdoors. But it's crazy. That runner's cough afterwards, no, thank you.
So
I don't run that far. I ain't got no runner's cough.
It's like deep in your chest. Like it's just like that cat meme where it was coughing. That's how I feel. Like
indoor. Always.
No, it burns.
As a distance runner, the 800 is you run a 400 as fast as you can, and then you just do it again.
And then do it again. Like how you just do it again?
You just go again.
You just a 400 as fast as you can isn't that fast for me. So
look, I'm like a 400 as fast as you can. Sound like my legs already just gonna fall off by the time I get to 300.
It's a lot longer than a runway.
So way longer than a runway. Did you watch a Things race last night?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Oh my goodness. That's just always scary, because I'm like, you want to reach through the TV and like grab her, but they was like, oh, she was getting by. I'm like, I didn't even see that. But then when she turned and she like repositions herself and like just like really like stay cool, calm, and collected. And afterwards I saw her, I was like, girl, you had a stress? She was like, I had y'all stress. I'm like, you right. Let me shut up. But she really fought back to the end. She didn't grimace. She didn't panic. It just was like, okay, boom, shook it off, ate that, and kept going.
I was running the 8, I'd probably be a little scared watching that. Like, this girl just ran so calm, cool, collected, and
my
She's
beautifully.
gonna take some names in the final.
Yes.
Like,
I'm
that's-
excited for
coming
her.
For the get back. I can't wait to watch the 8.
Yeah, that's about to go crazy.
So
But-
speaking of, we've been talking about this all week with Quincy medaling in the Open 400.
Yeah.
You know, talking about Rye and his. You've run sub 50 in the 400.
Yeah.
Do you get tempted to ever say I'm gonna go for the team in the flat event?
I never really thought about the team in the flat event. I mean, I have thought about it, but I always like, I want to do what I'm trying to do in these 400 hurdles, like, and then like maybe I can do that. But now, like, yeah, now I'm thinking like, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm really excited to like really just open up my stride and just go and not worry about these hurdles. So the 400 has been really, really fun for me this year, and I'm looking forward to what it's gonna be like in the future.
And who wins in a 4x4 between the hurdles girlies and the flat girlies?
Oh,
The hurdles girlies.
Easily.
What y'all thought this was?
yeah, so say easily, but like, I don't know. Y'all kind of dominating.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it was you,
Like-
Britton, Sydney, and Delilah.
Yes.
That's pretty hard to take
yes.
down.
Yes. History. We could break
That's
through a
literally
record.
history right
Yes,
there.
it
Can we get
is.
that relay
And
to
there are a
get
bunch
put
of
together?
like super
Everyone head
talented
to
ladies.
Arkansas.
Ah!
Early
Yeah.
season, you know?
I'm like, well, early season, put a little hurdle. Whoa, I can't talk today.
Wow.
Hurdle relay together.
Mhm.
Like, maybe at a relay camp.
That would be fun. I've always really wanted to just run with them. Like, it's the timing of everything, and it's just like we all scattered now. But like, I've always wanted to run a relay with the 400 hurdlers.
Like,
I
I
just
start
know it'd be
linking that
fun.
up because I'm trying to see that world record go down.
Yeah,
then
world
what-
relays or something.
With the hurdlers too, like, I think that might piss the 400 people.
That's
might get a
too
little
damn
offended.
bad.
And like the 400 has so much opportunity now because we've got the mixed relay and obviously our 4x4.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna be? Can we say if you running?
I don't want to speak too soon. No, but I am going to be on the final. I am going to be on the final with a 4x4.
Oh,
yes,
hell yeah.
that's the goal.
City
That's
is
the
exclusive.
plan.
So you are not done on this track yet.
That's why we don't have the
Then you
champagne out. 'Cause we
return.
still
Yeah,
gotta
y'all
go.
was trying to tempt me. I'm like, I still got to listen. Calm down. Not too soon.
So you're
not
gonna
too
come
soon.
back when y'all come back with a medal.
Is it going to be time? We going to have
We'll
time?
see.
We're gonna figure this
We'll make it
out.
work.
Because they kicking
We'll
us
have
out the
to figure
hotel
it
the next
out.
day. So it's like,
Hey, I mean, even if not, we could do a little Zoom call. And we'll
ooh,
get a little
that's
interview via
always
Zoom.
fun. That's always fun.
Send you a little bottle because now you could order alcohol on these delivery apps.
For real? It's
Yes,
lit like that
girl.
out here?
Drizzly.
Not
yeah.
out here. I'm gonna do
Oh.
it when we get back to the States. So when you back in the States,
Oh, y'all gonna send me a
I'm gonna
bottle?
send you a bottle and we gonna have a little out of the block celebration. We're gonna get a double medal. But
Yes.
you returning back in that stadium. That stadium is so loud sitting
Oh,
in the
God.
crowd.
Is it?
It is. You're not hearing it out there. You probably so
My memory
dialed
is
in
terrible,
focused.
so I probably feel like I'm just
You're probably
zoning
so
it
zoned
out.
in.
I can't hear. It is like it's loud because I can never hear when they're announcing our names, and it's like nerve wracking because they going through the names, and you being in lane. I've been in lane 4 and 8, so they going down the names, and I'm just like, okay, so when is he saying on your, like, you just like want to like look what time is it? You don't know what's going on, but it is loud because I cannot even hear intros.
Because I was also gonna say, I feel like it doesn't really get quiet at the start.
It does. It got quiet for that 400 hurdles. You can hear a pin drop.
A pin drop.
Yes.
So next time, just drop a little pin and be like,
No,
"Go,
no,
Shamier!"
keep it quiet. Everybody on mute, please.
I get so stressed out for you guys when they're doing the intros and the guy with the camera that gets right in your face. Sometimes he's on you for so long.
It's
you like smile and then he's
awkward.
like still there.
And you
You're
got
like,
the quiver
Okay.
lip, and I'm standing there like, do I go back to serious? Do I like no? Like,
I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
please.
you plan in advance. You're like, I'm gonna give this one a wave. Is it just like what the vibe is in the moment?
It's kind of what the vibe is in the moment. I'm usually like, I don't know why sometimes when I'm starting, I'm thinking of Corey Carter when she's like, But I'm just thinking like, I cannot hold this smile for long. I need to get back to my affirmations. So I'm in the camera and I'm just like, let's just get this show on the road. Please.
Get on my face, please.
It's awkward though when they just sitting there. You like,
I don't know what to do with my
you
face.
don't, because I gave y'all all I could give.
Now, you also just mentioned being in lanes 4 and 8. What is your preferred lane? Do you prefer to be more on the outside, right in the middle, on the inside?
I can get in anywhere. I feel like I've had good success. I won my first medal in lane 2. PR in the 400 in lane 8, medaled in this lane 6. Like, I feel like I can get anywhere, but I have really been coming to enjoy the outside lane because I can mind my business. I can run my race, and I don't know. I just like it. I like it. You could put me anywhere. I'm not really one of those people that's like, oh, dang, lane this, lane that. But like, I could get in anywhere. But I do prefer. I'm enjoying the outside lane.
I don't run on the curb much, but I prefer the outside lane.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's like less like turns.
Yeah.
So I guess.
Especially if you're
Turns
tall.
wider.
I think.
Yes. Ankles be about to fall off.
So we mentioned the Diamond League final, but what's the rest of the season look like moving forward?
I don't know. I feel like I had it locked in. Like this was the season. And then as we kind of move through rounds, I'm trying not to get too ahead of worlds, but definitely the Diamond League final. That's like for sure a go. But also it's like, do I do the 400? Do I do the 400 hurdles? They was talking about, me and Coach John, we talking about the double. And he was like, is it enough? I'm like, I don't think it's enough time for that. But I mean,
They keep that TV program pretty tight. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Be on the lookout.
Yeah.
Possible double.
Be on the lookout. These legs gonna be ate up. But
And I will say before we wrap up, if any of the viewers don't know this, between Shamier and Fred, we had like the 2 best Twitter track presences on the show this week.
what you
Oh,
mean?
absolutely.
Track present? Like
Just Twitter presences.
oh,
Yes.
I'm top 2 and I'm not 2.
Period.
Fred,
Look.
no, someone
We're
else.
gonna hear about that from Fred. Yeah. Do you, when it's race day, is it no Twitter? Is it a nice distraction? What's the vibe? Are you checking your phone?
I wasn't on Twitter as much because it's just so much words. I don't want to read all that, but I am on Instagram, like little reels and stuff. I try not to get too serious and be like, I'm deleting all this, but like, no, I want to be on social media. I want to be laughing and talking to my friends, but yeah, I'm like on social media, but not too heavy. I'll be sleeping or
Give her a follow.
watching
That's all
TV.
I'm saying.
Yeah, follow me, Sham Bambino.
Right. Make sure y'all follow Shamier. And then my last thing is how you gonna celebrate?
How am I going to celebrate? I'm gonna say this: fan status. If you know me, you know fan status. But that's all. That's all. I don't know how I'm gonna celebrate. I talk a lot of crap, and then I'll be like creeping away, going to sleep. Cause like
She's like, we going out. Everybody's about to
I'll
get
be
turned.
hyping
And then
everybody up. Like,
she'll be
oh, we
like,
finna
okay,
be
great.
turned. No, I'm sleepy. Let's go home.
That's an 8 years difference right
Yes.
there.
It is.
100%. Like, all right, I'm kind of ready to go to bed. Y'all ready?
I'm ate up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Clearly, we got a little more cheering to do for you in the next couple days. Let's rack up that medal count. And thanks again and congratulations.
Thank you for having me, y'all.
We happy to have you.
We will be right back in minutes with now 3-time World Olympic champion Katie Moon.
Ooh.
E6. Sound mind, sound body. 365 days. 1 year until history is made. A lifetime of preparation that will lead us to the ultimate test. 365 days until we show the world what a sound mind and a sound body can do. See you in Paris.
Stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? Yours feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills. Long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it. With stability, cushioning, and more comfort than ever in every step. Because nothing feels better than the adaptive stability and premium comfort of the Gel Kayano 30 shoe. Stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? You'll feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills. Long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it. With stability, cushioning, and more comfort than ever in every step. Because nothing feels better than the adaptive stability and premium comfort of the Gel Kayano 30 shoe.
All right, we are back. Shamier is so funny.
She's great. I love her life. Like, dude. And also the fact, like, it's just so special to have her here and to see people that we made our first teams together and coming out, seeing the process and see everybody grow within the sport has been so beautiful.
Lifelong friends made in track and field. And now sitting down with CITIUS MAG Live is another lifelong friend, Olympic champion, world champion, Katie Moon. Thank you so much for sitting down.
Thank you.
We'll clap it up.
Clap. Absolutely.
How does that sound? I mean, we were talking before. I was like, I don't even know how to introduce you. We got too many accolades now.
No, it's, oh gosh, it's so fun. It's crazy to think that, yeah, I'm so lucky to be good at what I love to do. It really makes it so fun.
You could have been good at distance running and hated it.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I could never have been good at distance running. I learned very quickly distance was not my forte.
You were a gymnast and you were a diver once upon a time.
Yeah.
Would you ever go back to either of those?
No.
If this doesn't work out, you know.
Funny enough, diving is a lot scarier than pole vault, I think, because you can land, smack and land on your back. You can hit the board. There are a lot more variables in diving, weirdly enough.
Diving looks terrifying.
It was, yeah. So I respect it so much. And I think it gave me a lot of even more body awareness in the air and body control. So I think that helped a lot. But yeah, no, I'm good with my 4 years in high school and calling it.
I think that's actually a very valid point. Being a diver and gymnast, giving that body awareness, I think it preps you very well for the pole vault.
Definitely. And you definitely don't have to have a gymnast background. I know a lot of people assume we do. And it can help. I only did it till about the 3rd grade, but it gave me just basic upper body strength, body awareness. I would say flexibility, but I don't have an ounce of flexibility. So none of that. Yeah, I, at the same time, Sandy never did it. Jen never did it. So it can definitely help you. But it's not a requirement.
Does that lack of basic fear of heights extend to the rest of your life? Like, are you an adrenaline junkie?
I was when I was younger, when I was young and naive and had no fear. If I had started pole vault any later, I wouldn't have started it because it's pretty scary. And it is different when you're standing up high looking down at something. That I do have a fear of heights in that sense. But with what we do, we just worked our way up slowly but surely into where that it's not really the fear of heights. It's more of what can go wrong in that initial like impulse off the ground. That's more where the fear comes in than the height itself. So, yeah.
So getting into, I guess, you shared the gold medal and everyone had their own thoughts and opinions. On
Everyone has an opinion. That's for
I
sure.
think she's sitting with the two perfect people.
Everyone had an opinion.
Oh yeah. That's life.
How's that been?
Oh, it's been so fun. There's been so much positivity and good. And so I really didn't want to address the negativity because there has been so much positivity coming our way. And I so appreciate that. But what I will say is there has been a lot of negative critiques, and not even that, just people kind of confused and not understanding why we would do that. How can the top athletes in the world want to share? I mean, God forbid there's 2 champions. But if nothing else, I've always said I want my platform to help put pole vault out there and help people understand it and just bring it to the world. And in that moment, I thought it was good to just say, hey, this is what we were going through. This is what we experienced. This is why we did it. And I understand jump offs are very exciting. I get it. You know, I've also seen the other side of jump offs where the athletes are so tired that the bar keeps coming down and down and down and down. And that's not really fun for anyone.
The winning jump of 4 meters.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Come on.
And I can understand maybe even being mad at the rule that they didn't require us to jump off. Or if we'd stopped at 490 and just didn't even finish out the competition. I understand all of that, but if you're that mad that we made this decision because we were so fatigued, and the pole vault really does become very dangerous. It's such a compliment to me when people say that you make it look easy, because it really is. What we do is so dangerous. My coach, at his prime, he had the American record when he competed. He was one of the best of all time. In I believe it was Monaco. It was one of the Diamond Leagues, I'm pretty sure. He got stood up and he crashed back down on the runway from 19 feet and shattered his pelvis. Oh my gosh. We've seen athletes, unfortunately, become paralyzed. I've gotten caught up where I've come up short, kind of come down on the bar, and it's actually flipped me forward going head first into the box. And just all these things happen, even to the best. You see it, you'll probably even see it a little bit, hopefully not, fingers crossed not, but you see sometimes even the best men in the world, the best women in the world, you know, getting rejected. And we thankfully have gotten pretty good at kind of saving those jumps, but nobody wants to see that. That's not fun for the crowd. That's not fun for the athletes. And our gut reaction was, I guess I can't speak for her, but for me, it was just, I am so fatigued. I know I gave this everything I had. We have literal data showing that my step is moving farther and farther away at the takeoff. And again, you kind of have to be within inches of that. And it was just absolutely a no-brainer that to walk away healthy with a gold with my friend. Yes.
When I saw the message, I was like, oh God, what did we say about it? So,
oh, trust me. It's more the people, again, like, gosh, some people.
No, I'll tell you what we said. I think we were on the same page.
Yeah, we were on the same page of like, nah, don't share it.
Yeah.
But also like,
No. We said as fans, we're like,
yes.
We want the jump off. But as athletes, we're like, I would share.
Understand.
And again, I understand that mentality. I like jump offs are very exciting. But it's more the people that are just so angry about it.
Not angry
and,
about that at all.
These two are cowards. They don't deserve the gold. Loser mentality. I had someone comment loser mentality with the pointing emoji. That one I sent to my family along with the gif of Mulan where he's like, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor like you're just never going to make everyone happy.
But
and that's
I think that it's very understandable with pole vault, especially given how dangerous it is. Because Tara and I were texting and we were just like, had this been long jump, we would have been like, no, you got one jump and whoever jumps the farthest is what it will be.
Right.
But understanding that you guys were out there for so long, it's also very hot outside for those of you that don't understand.
Yeah.
It's hot and humid at that. What would perfect weather conditions be for pole vault?
Honestly, it was pretty darn close to perfect because we would rather it be too hot than cold. It was no wind at all whatsoever.
Yes.
That's
beautiful.
It was basically an indoor meet, just a little bit hotter. So I would say maybe 5 degrees cooler, but otherwise, because you don't want to have to we put our sweats back on in between.
Yeah.
But you just don't want to feel like you have to stay warm and have to keep warming up before every bar, every jump. And so all things considered, it really was pretty phenomenal conditions.
One of our ideas was like, because obviously we're always fixing the sport and coming up with new bad ideas.
That's right.
Was that coaches should have to step in.
Yeah.
You think you would have had that?
In terms of like literally jumping for
like
us?
instead of the athletes, the coaches have to each compete.
I would have loved that because so Brad and her coach was Paul Burgess, who was a 6 meter jumper as well. They were they're such good friends. They hang out at all the competitions. I literally went out with them after, was it Lausanne? And we just sat while they had a drink, and I just sat and laughed with them. They're such good friends. That would have been hysterical to try and watch them both try and pole vault
Especially
off.
now that coaches get medals.
Yeah, they did.
They're getting
I
medals.
know.
You want your medal? Time to earn
That's
it.
right.
Step up.
So that
get
actually
in the
would have been
box.
good.
That would have been hilarious.
Two slightly out of shape athlete. I still would have backed Brad. Gosh, I love Burgess though. That would have been so entertaining for sure.
I wonder, like, did they make enough medals? Because now you need 2 extra for the coaches. You know,
You'd like to think they'd. I
hope they brought.
Hopefully
It.
they did over instead of
What happens
right
with-
on.
What happens with prize money?
I have no idea.
They maybe took
Actually,
out an
like,
insurance policy
no
in case.
clue.
I don't know. I don't
You
know what
guys
happens to the
know-
automatic buy. I'm
I
not
was about
sure.
to ask. Like, so this is just something kind of foreign that
Yeah.
we're gonna have to figure out.
Yeah,
I vote,
okay.
Go into your pockets. Give both full paydays. Give them both.
Yeah,
the,
I think
the
you guys
buys.
both.
I'm here
deserve
for that.
full-
Yes.
I think you both
Yes.
definitely deserve buys because you both went out there and competed and you got gold. And I
Thank
think
you.
it would be nice to not have to split the money in half because you also
I agree.
earned it.
I
I'm
think
like, don't you
what
like
I've
a
heard
relay?
is in the past they'll just take first and second, add it up and split it in
Oh, and
half,
split
so
it.
we'd get slightly less than what first would get. But
Okay.
it's okay.
Slightly less.
So I'm not mad about it. Yeah,
you know,
it's
not too bad. I mean, as long as you guys both get your buys, I'll be happy.
That-
That is
yeah.
one thing that I think
I
I might
agree with
light the pitchforks on fire if they're like,
Yeah. I mean, it's funny too because I know, some people were talking about contracts and they just were afraid to get silver, and I'm like, if I was afraid to get silver, I wouldn't step on the track.
Yeah.
Like that's sure. But yeah,
You showed up that day not
Yeah.
afraid to get silver.
yeah,
And-
I don't think anyone
yeah,
out there
that-
is afraid to get
silver medal is still pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a bad day. And so, yeah, the other ones that make me laugh are the people that said it was really calculated. Like we planned that. And I'm like, if my plan was going first attempt through a world record, I don't know what anyone else's plan was, but that was, it didn't go according to plan, but sure, we calculated that. Like, so I don't know what in summary, I have no idea what's going to happen with any of that because I didn't plan this.
Well, this will be
Contrary
fun.
to popular belief.
This will be fun to find out. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see what they decide, and hopefully it's in the favor of you guys.
I especially more with the automatic buy.
Yeah.
That's what I care about more because the women's pole vault in the U.S. is so deep. I mean, the fact that all 4 of us made it to the final and did well in the final, like
Yes.
for the most part, it was just really competitive, and so I think we showed that we earned that, and obviously whoever wins earns it, but hopefully they kind of take that into account and can give both countries that.
I also loved your caption, bringing in stepbrothers. 'Cause as soon as I saw that, I was just like, we just become best friends?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Do you want to do karate in the garage? Yep. Me and my friends quoted that all through college, and I said that out on the field, like right after it happened. I was like, have you seen Step Brothers? I'm like trying to give context to it, but it just, that was the first thing that came to mind.
So
That
what
was
was
the
the
cutest thing.
conversation? Like how did you find out that was an option?
Yeah. So I forgot. I didn't know you could even do that until the Olympics when the high jumpers did it. And going into a meet, obviously you just assume it's going to play out the way it needs to, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3. And when I missed at 95, I was just frustrated because I was so tired, and I really wanted to clear it and have it be done. And the thought of a jump off was really daunting. And not to say I wouldn't have done it, but just when you start to feel that way as a vaulter, that's when like your body is saying like, this isn't becoming safe anymore. And so the official walked up, she walked up, and I just assumed we'd be jumping. So I said, okay, I think they're going to go to 95. And then I saw the look on her face, and she looked also the same way that I was feeling inside. And I just said, unless we both want to take it. And she was like, share? And I was like, yeah. And it was just, we were kind of dancing around it. Like, you say it. No, you say it. Like, are you
Somebody
sure?
who's going to say it.
Well, and I didn't want to put that on her because she had never won her own outright. I just didn't want to push that on her, to assume that she wanted to do that. I would have jumped had she wanted to. But when she seemed really excited, like she wanted to do that, it was just an immediate yes, I'm so in. I am so happy that you want to, because I'm so tired. And yeah, that was kind of how that went down.
How long does the competition end up being when you go that high, and then fueling during it? Like you're talking about how tired you are. Oh, you have to do the hardest part now that you're the most tired. So from the very beginning to the end, even like warm up. Yeah. How long in fueling?
So I got to the track. I started warming up at 5:30, and we finished, I want to say, around 10 to 10:30, somewhere in there.
So longer than a marathon.
Yeah. Well, because we start just jogging, stretching, dynamic stretches. That takes half hour to 45 minutes. Plus you got the call room. And all this time, there's just so much nervous energy in your body. There's just constant emotion going on that is also extra draining. And every bar that you make is even more emotionally draining. And so we then go out and get an hour on the runway. And then, once the competition starts, you're waiting for some of the races to start. They pause you for that. And so while it doesn't seem, in the grand scheme of things, I think I had 10 jumps out there, which probably doesn't sound like that much, but research has shown that I think the best jumps for a pole vaulter are between 4 and 6. So we were on jump 10 and would have been going for 11. And that doesn't include any of the warm-up jumps. So we would have been going for, 11, 12, 13, how many ever. And so it was long. It was hot. It was emotional. I mean, to have my adrenaline was just electric at 90, and then you clear 90, and then you're just celebrating as much as you're trying to keep yourself in check. And, it's just, it really, especially following her, she was in such control throughout the competition, and having to match her, that's just an added emotion to it. And it just, so I think I said almost 4 hours, I think, from the time we started on the runway warming up to the time we finished. It was definitely over 3.5. It was almost 4. So
I think one of the fun things with pole vault is you guys kind of get to play a game of chess, not checkers. So you guys get to do this thing where you can pass a height, no attempts, and then you have 3 attempts at each height. So then you can make an attempt and then decide, I missed it, let me just pass on to the next height. But then you only get the 2 attempts instead, or if you took 2 attempts and you only get 1.
Yep.
What comes into play when you guys make those decisions?
My coach, he makes all the decisions. So for example, in this meet, I passed 75, and a big part of that decision was, so the difference between 475 and 480 is just 2 inches. It's that much, which in your head, 75 and 80 sounds very different, because 80 for a vaulter is a pretty big bar. But I knew if I wasn't making 75, I wasn't making 80. Like that was, so to pass at 75, it was really because I wanted more energy at the end of the competition. It was because I knew enough girls would clear, or at least I figured enough girls would clear 75 that wasn't going to do anything for a medal anyways. And so it was a risk, and definitely one that I was a little nervous about. My coach I kept looking at him like, are we sure? Are we sure? and then I missed my first attempt at 80. I was like, are you sure? Are you really sure?
Can we go back down?
I take it back.
I take it back. Yeah. But he said, you've earned this pass. Like that's where you have to trust yourself, trust your coach, trust your equipment, and just pole vault to the best of your ability, I guess, and just focus on my cues and what I'm trying to execute and just make that happen. And it really comes down to the medals as well. Like that's what a lot of times when you see people passing is when medals are involved. And I did ask Brad at 90 if she made it first attempt, should I pass? And he's like, actually, you're tied right now, because, and bad that I didn't fully know the rules, but I knew that Nina had cleared 80 before I did, but it only goes back to the previous height when the competition is done.
Wow, I actually don't think I realized that.
Yeah, and so a lot of people don't understand and think that Nina actually won because she cleared 80. So she missed at 75 her first attempt, but because I passed and did end up making 80, it was as if I made 75 first attempt. And so then when it goes to 80 and I missed my first attempt and she made it, if we had gone out at 85, she would have won because at the bar before she made it first attempt and I made it second. But because we then went through 90, through 85, same attempt, 90, same attempt. Then when I went to 95 and we went out, that's why we were tied because we had the same number of misses throughout the competition.
I'm so happy we have you on to explain this. Like, honestly, like I've been trying to learn about pole vault. I've been joking. I'm like, I'm going to switch over to pole vault.
That's right. Girl, you're going to put us all to shame.
Gotta learn the rules.
With that speed, with that jump.
I'm learning the rules. Like, Katie, you want to coach me? Like,
you're probably going to be better than me if you learn. So no.
Absolutely not. No, thank you.
Hey, speed and long jump approach is pretty darn similar.
So tell us about jumping in the stadium because I hear rumors it's actually downhill.
So the way the pole vault runway is on the curve is there's a crown so that the water runs off of it. So when we're on the curve, there's a slight uphill and a slight downhill. It's very minute. It's very, very minute. But with where the pit was placed on that runway, it was at the very end. And with where a lot of our runs were starting, it actually felt like the majority of our run. It was just so fast. It was so good that, I mean, you don't run it and think, wow, that's downhill, but it's just, wow, this feels really good. I feel fast. And I think just looking at, how a track works and how that crown would work, it might have been downhill for the majority of the run.
I had no idea as an ignorant distance runner that like runways are different and that it makes it such a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think the first time I really heard about that was in Belgrade, right?
Okay.
Like, wasn't that a special fast runway? I don't know, but
is that the one where it was like on the hydraulics? Yeah. So that was almost like a raised runway, but level with the track. So you could hear it kind of bouncing. And, when they bring raised runways out into the streets, that's a similar kind of setup. So, you kind of get ready for anything. And everything's made with humans, so by humans for the most part. So there's always human error involved. And so any track, any runway you go to can be a little bit different, but that's why you bring a variety of poles, different stiffness, and just your warm-ups will kind of tell you what you're going to be on that day.
Explain this.
Yeah.
All right. So how many poles did you travel with? And then
for this meet, I traveled with 7, but normally.
Is that expensive?
Yeah.
I saw they made it here. I saw Karen, who's having a great time with her athletes, by the way.
Karen is living her best life right now, being, an agent with just athletes doing so well.
Yeah,
Loggie's agent, Deanna's agent. She's just having a ball. And she's a huge factor as to why my poles show up where I need them to. Oh my gosh. She plans all my travel. She confirms them ahead of time. I finally just got a set of poles though that stay in Europe. And so I flew to London before I came here to pick them up because we had stored them there after the London Diamond League, and makes it a little bit easier than flying them across the world because usually you have to go through Paris, and Paris notoriously is not great with poles, but Air France is, I think, the only airline that will take them. One of the very few, because United stopped, Delta stopped. So we're limited. And so then by keeping a set over here, I live in Atlanta, so Delta is really great, and I can fly direct to wherever they're at and then take a smaller flight from wherever in Europe to where I need to go.
7 poles. Mm-hmm. Different stiffness, same pole throughout the competition. When you change, why would one be stiffer than another? And you can go as technical as you want. Mac and I like
Please
this.
Get very technical.
No. So when you start, you're getting warmed up. You're not as fast and explosive, and so as you go, you get better and better. And so you start with a softer pole. We say it's less stiff. And you just start with that in warm-ups and kind of build your confidence. And then you'll go up a pole. And really the way that you know it's time to go up a pole is you just see the way that you're hitting the bar. So we can choose standard placement, which is you can push it farther back, you can move it farther up, wherever your hips are peaking. We always keep it all the way buried because that just takes out a variable. And so if I always have it farther back, then I know in warm-ups, I just try to get to the stiffest pole that I can. And then when the bar goes up, I know that I'll either clear it or it'll be a blow-through miss, which means you're just hitting it on the way up, that your energy is moving so well that your hips are peaking past the bar and you're hitting it on the front side. That's a good problem to have. And so that's why you just kind of work your way up. But in warm-ups, I really do try to push poles to get to the biggest one that I can. And they put a bungee up so you can gauge where that is. And then, when competition starts, you just see, how you're taking off, how you're moving, and how you're missing the bar ultimately or making it. And my coach makes a lot of those decisions. Says, okay, go up a pole or go up in grip. You can do either.
So much more technical.
It's very
There's a lot of
technical.
variables. There are a lot of variables.
I want to know, what's the difference between your shortest pole and then your tallest pole?
Yeah. I mean, really, they're ultimately kind of the same, but ideally as a pole vaulter, you want to get on the longest, stiffest pole you can. And the better and more efficient you are, that's going to happen. And so when I am coming in from a shorter run, just working on technique, I'll be on shorter poles. And then when I'm in a competition, what's funny is in practice, I don't even get close to the poles I touch in a competition because there's just some things that adrenaline, you can't make that happen in practice, but I'm on the same length. So as long as I'm on the same length pole, it's all relative and it will react similarly. Like it will react the same. It's just, I don't even get close to I'm again on the same length pole, but in terms of how stiff it is, I am not on the same poles in practice as competition.
Right, so I'm again coming from a place of ignorance, but I'm sure that there's other people that are curious about these sort of things.
Yep.
So like distance runners, I'm heavier at the beginning of a season than I am at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. Does that change for you throughout the season and therefore the poles you're using differ? Sort of.
Not in the way that you would think. If anything, what we do is at the beginning of the season, I'm going probably to be heavier because we're building muscle. My coach likes me to not be too lean when I come in because we put in high volume, and if you're too lean, that's when you can get injured. So but towards the end of the season, we push in the weight room really hard because then at the end of the season, when you're peaking and you're leaning out, you're actually going to be a stronger version of that same weight than you were the year before. And because your body always kind of remembers once you can push weight or move a certain speed and turn your legs over a certain speed, once you're able to do that, that's why we do, overspeed training and all of that, because your body, it's muscle memory at that point. And so even though I'm leaner and lighter at the end of the season, I'm a stronger version of that than I was the season before. That's the goal. And that's why we do that. So my body changes and leans out, but I'm actually on bigger poles at the end of the season than I would be at the beginning of the season, typically.
All right. So this is like, there's so much more intricacies to pole vault than is often shown on air. Right. And we were talking earlier about the meet in Sweden that Mondo and Red Bull had put on, and it was Holly had been commentating undivided attention for pole vault, which must be nice to finally have. But like, how do we make it more accessible as an event to fans of track and field? Because who are the potential pole vault fans? It's the distance runners, and it's the sprinters, and it's the long jumpers. But we don't necessarily appreciate all the little things that are happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think having someone like Holly in the booth is awesome because she can bring it to the crowd, and nothing against the commentators. I think Paul and Trey do a great job. Trey was a decathlete, so he gets the pole vault, but having an announcer in the booth that just understands the sport and can explain it to a crowd why we're making these decisions, what's going on, I think that's huge. And Holly did a fantastic job of that because she can relate it to the average person that just doesn't know about pole vault and teach them while still keeping the pole vault crowd engaged and yeah.
We need to find someone just like that.
I think we need to find somebody exactly like that.
I'm in. I'm so in. Anytime you need your pole vault guru.
We need somebody, Katie.
I'm in. I'm so in.
If there's definitely so many rules involved in the pole vault, what's like the worst one? Like what can we change? What do you have?
I mean,
any
if you
good
ask
ideas?
people, it'd be that we don't have to do a jump off for a gold medal. I think that'd be most people's vote. That's the worst rule in pole vault. I think it's the best rule in pole vault right now. No, I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm so used to what the rules are that I guess it's hard to say. What's an interesting one is you used to be able to like hold the bar on when you went over if you were allowed to push it back up, but then people were training to do that. This was way back, and so then they took that out. So
were any records set that way?
I don't know if Bubka ever did it. I know I don't know, but I'm sure because if you were kind of coming over it and you like pushed it back on, I haven't seen him specifically do it, but that's not to say he didn't do it.
That's body control.
Part of me is like, I guess if you can, but
it's absolutely amazing. I was at a track meet once upon a time. I'm not going to snitch on the athlete that I saw do it, but I watched them do it, and I was kind of like.
And sometimes the officials will catch it, and sometimes they don't.
Did not catch it, and I was just like, "That was very smooth. Job well done."
Yeah, and maybe the official did, but he's like, you know what? I'll give it to him. But yeah, that's not allowed. So that's an interesting one.
So you were saying that you're a track fan, like
yes,
you like track and field.
You post so much on Twitter of other events, and I love that.
Why don't more athletes shout each other out? Right, like. Give that appreciation.
I just love it. I grew up like my brother is the biggest track and field fan, and of course the rest of my family then, because they didn't have a choice. If they wanted to get involved in conversations with us, they had to become a track fan. So, I love the sport. I just when I'm out there, even competing, if people are running past me, like I'll be cheering for them. I love it so much.
So you were saying that you wish that you were able to watch the 1500 while
it was funny because it was going on while I was out there, but in that moment, I mean, I could have if I wanted to. I was a little preoccupied. But yeah, just I love the mid-distance races because I'm so fascinated by things that I'm not good at, and just a sprint for that long is just crazy to me. I love all track events, but definitely like 1800. I'm such a track fan. 800, 1500 are kind of the two that I definitely, there's just strategy and I mean, it's a sprint. So it's just pretty crazy to watch, but all the events right now are just so fun.
So we're going to the track the next 2 nights to cheer everyone on. And then where can we see the rest of the season?
I am going to go to Zurich. We have our pole vault in the train station this year. I'm so excited. And then I'll go to Prefontaine for the final.
You guys get to have pole vault competitions in some of the coolest places.
It's awesome. It's so much fun because the crowd is literally right next to the runway, and you just it's so much fun. I
do think that's one of the special things with pole vault is you guys do have just straight pole vault meets that are in these absolutely amazing places. You guys do get to have fans out there, and hopefully we can bring in some more fans for pole vault because you guys deserve it.
Thank you.
You gained a fan of pole vault within the past 2 years.
Great.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
We're a little mad that you didn't bring the medal with you.
I am so sorry. I just can't be trusted with things that special. Like I don't know what to do with myself and with it, and it's so bad.
Well, hopefully we hear more.
Maybe I'll give you my coach's medal to make up for it. He will be so mad at me, but
deal. I'm in. But hopefully we hear more of your voice explaining how to do the pole vault with such detail very, very soon.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
We are going to be back very, very shortly, joined by Joseph Fahnbulleh.
ASICS. Sound mind, sound body. 365 days. 1 year until history is made. A lifetime of preparation that will lead us to the ultimate test. 365 days until we show the world what a sound mind and a sound body can do. See you in Paris.
Stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? You'll feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills. Long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it. With stability, cushioning, and more comfort than ever in every step. Because nothing feels better than the adaptive stability and premium comfort of the Gel Kayano 30 shoe. Stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? You'll feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills. Long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it. With stability, cushioning, and more comfort than ever in every step. Because nothing feels better than the adaptive stability and premium comfort of the Gel Kayano 30 shoe.
And we are back here at CITIUS MAG Live, presented by ASICS.
With the Joe Fahnbulleh. Everyone give him a round of applause.
Joe, just coming off the final.
Yeah.
You're finally getting to hang out with some of the ASICS folks over at HQ. Although I hear you actually spend a decent amount of time over there. There's like food every day, right?
Oh no, yeah.
Is it
I was
better
over
than
there.
the Team USA hotel food?
No
Oh,
comment.
Team USA.
Oh,
What are you talking
I told.
about?
Oh wait, I forgot that we you know like we technically like still claim him. So like, my
Although
bad.
I did eat there the other night, but it was okay.
How's Team Liberia's hotel food situation?
Not the best. But yeah, no, yeah, I was over at the ASICS house 2 days ago, earlier today, and then just showing face, being sure that I'm just there and being a good ambassador.
So did you find the person that you needed to talk to about being in an ASICS commercial? This is your pitch. Like,
This
tell
is
them
like-
why you need to be in a commercial.
This just got brought up literally a minute ago. So I'll just talk to the CEO of ASICS and then you just put me in one.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I mean, you're a good actor, attractive, fast. Like, what else do we need? Perfect.
He needs to
commercial
be able to
material.
rap.
Yeah.
I love inside jokes.
No, yeah. If I need to rap, I would do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Anything you got to do. So, all right, breaking down this week. How did it go? Take us through the rounds. You know, you're just coming off the final. Have you fully even processed everything, or is it like, no, you got to go back, watch, sit down with the coach, and see?
There's nothing really to process for the final, I would say. The whole week, the rounds were just to get through. You know, I've been battling an injury the whole year, so I was just trying to just make it through. I've been healthy for like the last month and a half, but you know, it comes up every now and then, and usually when you go back to back days, it flares up because you have no really rest day. So I've been battling that. The rounds was okay, subpar at best, you know, like 20.4, 20.2. And then in the final, my mental wasn't there, you know. So I'm physically fit to run 19.7, you know, because you don't come here to just get dead last. You come here to just, you know, to execute. So, yeah, with that being said, you know, final was just a final.
How does that feel? I mean, you look at the whole year, even London, you know, when we were there with you, we had Bobo there following. Like, you just have some bad luck along the way, but then to still be able to come out here and put your best foot forward and have to like forget about things that are going on.
Yeah.
I guess, you know, for you, is that a challenge? Is that something that you're taking forward with you into the future?
It's always a challenge when you want things to go a certain way and then they just don't. So having unwavering faith in what you are capable of is key. And sometimes that tends to fall off, and sometimes that tends to like make the best out of what you're in. Yeah, I don't know. It's just you just take it one day at a time.
So the thing is that, you know, when you're going through a lot of hard stuff, like community is like the most important thing to have. But there's a crap ton of Gators out here. So I just want to know like what you guys have been doing this week or even before this week to kind of just like help prepare each other like for this moment. Because some of you guys have been here before, maybe some of you guys haven't. But like I said, all of you guys are out here and have had like varying levels of performance. So what are you guys doing to stay grounded together?
We try to just text as much as we can or be with them as much as I can, you know, like whether that's I'm with Jazz or TB or Grant or Ariane, you know, just being around one another at this type of events really it just gives us a sense of home because we're back at, you know, the lab as we all say it. So yeah, just hanging out, you know. It's so serious over here. It's like so tense. So when we can just talk about anything, we just do.
That's great because when we were interviewing Grant yesterday, he was saying that one thing that helped him a lot this season was being able to disconnect from track and like finding things about himself outside of like being a runner and like anything that was really just track related. So has that been the same case for you? Have you been exploring other avenues about yourself?
Of course. Yeah. LeBron said that I'm more than just an athlete, you know, that whole big campaign that he did. And I feel like track athletes are so invested in being a track athlete that it just consumes their whole life. I'm not that, you know. Not saying that I do track on the side. You know, you know what I'm saying?
You're all in. You're all in.
I'm all in. Obviously, I'm all in, you know. But it's like just me being me, you know, like whether that's I do art or I talk to my mom or I have a dog or, you know, just I'm hanging out with friends trying to get into new things like golfing. Like Grant is a good golfer. You know what I'm saying? Like Grant has his tournament November 14th.
I seen the tweet. Yeah.
If y'all want to come out.
Low key?
You know, if right? You leave that. Look, all proceeds go to a charity. So
that's what's up.
That's what I'm doing, you know, learning how to play golf or just learning in life in general, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm young, I'm 21, you know, I'm just trying to live a normal life, but also live a life where I'm expected to live on the track, which is kind of hard, you know?
Yeah. How's that transition been out of college and into professional life now?
Right.
You know, I'm sure the schedule looks a little bit different now and the professionalism that you have to bring to everything you do is a little bit different.
Right. The biggest thing I say is different, the structure. You have somebody to tell you when to get on the bus, what to wear, how to pack, when to eat, how to eat. You have somebody to just be there with you to hold your hand. Your coach is there, assistant coach, your weight room coach. Everyone is there from your school at a track meet. And then you have your whole team of like 50 athletes. When I'm overseas, and when I was in South Africa training alone, it was me and my agent. And I was sending videos to my coach saying, oh, this is what I did, you know, today. What can I do better for tomorrow? Or I'll be on the phone call with him, send him a video, like live, and then he would just say it, and then he would just like give me feedback. So biggest thing is you have to understand how to move around Europe alone and be comfortable alone.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who's busier this week, Chris Chavez or Coach Holloway.
No, I'm not.
I mean, the relationship.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, it's tight, right?
Pretty close.
It's so cool to see your relationship with him and how it's developed. Yeah. I mean, what does he say to you? I mean, it seems like you guys have like great banter together, right? Like, how has that changed? And like, are you a pain in his ass always, or you know, what's going on?
A pain in the ass? No, I came to Florida because he said that he was going to make me into a good man, you know. And then my mom was like, I want that for you because my dad wasn't in my life at all. So that's why I came here. And then from there, I made him not a coach, but made him into a father figure because I seen what he has done for others, you know. And so leaning on him in that way made our relationship stronger, but it also made it to where we butt heads a lot at first. And then when I understood who he was as a person, like 3 years later, then I was like, all right, cool. I know how to be coach. I know when he's trying to push my buttons, and I know when he's trying to make me better. I'm not always a pain in his ass, but there is a level of like, Trevor can't do that, but I can because like I'm so close with him, and it's good. It's like a father-son, knowing that I'm not his son because he already has a son.
You can have more than one.
He can adopt you.
So it's like me and Ariane, we always like, I would say we make him young again because we just keep him on his toes and whatnot, and we just always like surprise him, so it's always a good time.
I still like remember that moment from when you guys won nationals like 2 years ago, and then he was just, I don't know if he told you to shut up or he just gave you the look. I don't remember exactly, but it was just like the craziest death stare, and you were just like,
because like at practice he would literally, I can't really say this, he would like cuss us out, and then
Respectfully.
No, honestly, no, yeah. He would push our buttons on purpose. We would run crazy fast, and at the end of practice, he would come up to us and give us a hug and say, "I did it for a reason because I want you guys to believe that you can, 1, do it without me having to yell at you. 2, I love y'all, and like 3, you just have to go out there and just believe, So."
The names that you are mentioning and like seeing videos of who's at practice. Do you ever just look around and be like, this is my training group?
This is crazy. Wild. Because at the end of the day, even if you're like, we are all really good track athletes, you can be a really good track athlete on a bad day. On a good day, you're looking across the track. I'm seeing Anna Hall, right? Across the track, I'm seeing Talitha, I'm seeing Q, I'm seeing Big Q, I'm seeing Grant, and I'm running a rep with Ariane.
Trevor's there too.
Right. Trevor's there, and then
it's just some random guy.
This guy just showed up.
Why is he running reps with us?
Exactly, Trevor. And then I see in the air, Dendi, Dono, Jazz, Anna again, So it's when you go to Florida, there's greatness, and then you're forced to be great, when that happens, you either accept it, and then you rise up to the occasion. Not all the time it'll be a immediate rise, but you will rise up, because that is what is expected of you when you're there. Like I said, I'm trying to balance like what is expected and what life really is. But yeah, the whole training group is like, am I in like a Netflix like documentary?
Like, well, wait a minute, Netflix.
It seems like kind of like scripted. Yeah. That
Do you like your script?
Do I like my script?
Yeah.
Not right now. Not right now. I'm saying there better be a change quick. The script right now is for a reason, I would say. Yeah.
I mean, it is really like the Avengers, though. Like when you guys have a practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have to be separated? Because things would get too crazy if you all ran it. Like you could fill up 9 lanes on a track.
Yeah.
And just have, how does coach balance having all that talent in one place? And also then, this is respectfully, every elite athlete has one, the egos.
Okay. How does Coach Holloway handle it?
Yeah, just like having so many people to balance. Like
he doesn't handle it alone. There's Adrian Mann, Nick Peterson, Worski, Welty, and then there's Matt Delancey in the weight room. The guy that is not on the camera at all. But
he has a great Twitter though.
Great Twitter.
I love that guy's Twitter.
He is present there for anything. Like I've been in Matt's office crying, because it's like Coach Holloway like broke me today. So I need to go him to like, you know what I'm saying? But he doesn't handle it alone. And when he does not handle it alone, everything runs smoothly because he knows that he cannot handle it alone. There's too many of us. And then we also intersect with the college kids that are coming out. So it's like, yes, he's like the captain of the ship, but bro, he can't like, respectfully, coach, he can't handle it all alone. So everybody, every coach is, you know what I'm saying, they are all like a well-oiled machine. And then with the egos, we have no egos. You know what I'm saying? We have no egos. Grant a little bit though. No. But we have no egos. We all know that we all have the same goal. We all respect one another. We don't put each other down. There might be like casual banter to competitive banter. That's about it, you know, but no one is like prissy. No one is like mean or rude on purpose, you know. We all hang out outside of track. We all have drinks. We all play the game. We all have fun, you know. And that's what makes our training group like a good training group, because we can separate, like how Grant said, from track and to regular life. We can all do that, you know. So it doesn't matter how old you are. Grant's like what?
30.
Thank you.
He
Grant's
said
like
he's
30.
25. He's 25. She hates when I make age jokes, so I am not allowed to make them anymore.
Grant posted on his Instagram the other day, this is my 11th championship like race, like final. And then and I was like, how old are you? 11? 11? Like how old? He's 25.
He's just one too damn much.
He's about to turn 26 in November, right? So he's like the dad of the group, but not dad really, because like
that's
he's
older
the
cousin.
That's
older
that
cousin.
is big bro. Okay, that is big bro. And then there's Dendy, who is like
Now Dendy's
the grandpa.
age.
You know what I'm saying? Dendy is 30, but he acts like he's 26. So it's like, look, we're all cool. You know, it doesn't matter what age or like where you come from. Like TB was a new addition this year, fit in well because we made him fit in, as in we were opening our arms to him. You know, but also he has to learn about a few things with like Coach Holloway and not, but like different stories. But yeah.
So all of you guys are like a bunch of goofballs, is from what I know, from when I've talked to you guys, from what I've seen. So like, how does Coach Holloway deal with, you know, essentially having to coach a circus? Because I feel like it is the time in your life at practice every day when you know you're not dying, throwing up, or he's yelling at you.
We know when we have to be quiet and run. We know what time of year it is. We know if he gives us a look.
Wait, can you do the look?
I can do the look. It's just only him. When he says, can you go bring out my bat? Exactly. Y'all haven't heard about the bat. Freshman year, can you go bring out my bat? He has like an actual baseball bat that he swings around, that he plays with, that is sitting on a bench right there, right? When that bat is out, there is no play time. There is no play time. You do what he says. You go run fast. You be quiet, and you go home.
How often is the bat out?
Look, the bat is out. Look,
every day. 25
every other day the bat is out. No, I'm playing. No, but only on serious days when the bat is out is like sprint days, or when we have like a long endurance day, like a 450, 350, and we have to hit the time, you know. Or the bat is always out after SECs. The 2 weeks leading up to SECs, the bat is out because there's no play time.
There's no time for fun.
No time for fun. And then after nationals, the bat is still out. And then the weeks leading up to Worlds, the bat is out.
So like for a stretch of like almost a month and a half, like there's just
serious. But we also play around.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like I said, a look, or we just know when it's like, all right, let's like lock in for real. You know, but as I said earlier, we make him young again because we always joke around. We always have fun, you know, but it's a respect thing as well. You know when to run fast and when to lock in at practice. He knows when he can play around and make jokes as well.
Just thinking about the infrastructure of being at an NCAA program like that. And I mean, you have obviously teammates who are international, maybe didn't go through the NCAA. You've also been on the circuit with a number of athletes that did not go through the NCAA. Is there ever envy like to how good it is? Like at Florida, the amount of support that NCAA athletes have and how it's prepared so many athletes here at the championships. I mean, probably 200 plus athletes here came through the NCAA system. So something's good. It worked for you.
Yeah.
I guess, is there ever discussions with teammates who hadn't gone through, I'm talking like Liberian teammates, about the setup?
Everyone has gotten to how you get here. Yes, it matters, but it worked for you onto how you got here, whether that is the NCAA life or whether that's not. People who haven't been in the NCAA life and has gotten here doesn't really need the NCAA life. You know what I'm saying? So yes, it's helped a lot of athletes because it is structure. It's structure. But talking with Matadi, and he went through the NCAA life a little bit, and then he just did his own thing with rugby, and then he came back, finding his way back. And just, if you're fast, they will find you. You know how Dion says that if you're good, they will find you, no matter if you're D2, D3. If you're good, they will find you. Simple as that. If you go to a meet and you run like 9.9 and you consistently run 9.9, somebody will be like, "All right, do you have an agent? Do you want to do this for real? If so, come join me." You know what I'm saying? So the NCAA system has helped us a lot, and it does gear you for these big meets, because you have 2 big meets of the year. You have conference, and then you have nationals, regionals as well. But that's like, so yeah.
What about that support from ASICS and your ascent as a professional athlete? Were you the type who always wanted to be a professional runner? Like, when did that become a viable life path for you to take?
When I was young, I wanted to just make it out, being a pro runner. I say that dream was senior in college. I mean, in high school, sorry. Senior in high school, where I ran 20.6 at New Balance. And the year I ran 20.6 again at JOs. And I was like, this is a start. It's not going to be easy. It is a start. And then I wrote down, make finals at the Olympics in 2020. For 2 years straight, I had that in my room. And then it happened, And after that, I was like, I can really make this a career. So me and coach were like, all right, cool. Do you want to do this for real? If so, let's lock in. The bet happened, all that,
You
and
get
then
beat with the bet if you start laughing.
No, but yeah, it was always an option, and I wanted to make a good life for my mom, because it's like I will slave away my youth so then my mom can have a good life when I'm done slaving away, So if to me that was the best option that I could do, because I was good at it and God gave me the gifts to go do it, so I would go do it,
Speaking of when you're done slaving away, what do you want, the after years of your professional career to look like? Because I think Grant was saying for him, he's like, I don't want to be involved in the sport no more. I want to just show up to a track, me sit down and have fun. He's like, I don't want to all the over the top stuff. No, I just want to be able to sit, chill, and do whatever the hell else I want to do for the rest of my life. So are you the kind of person who wants to continue being involved in the sport, being at the forefront of change, or would you rather just sit back and let other people kind of handle that business?
I would want to be a part of it.
You're a track fan.
I'm a track fan.
You are definitely.
I am a cross country fan.
Yes.
I'm a long
distance. Did you go to the marathon this morning?
Look, no.
World Cross coming to Florida.
Really?
Yeah, Tallahassee.
Wow, I'll be there.
It's not too far.
No, yeah, like an hour and a half drive. But no, I would want to be involved. You know, I understand where Grant is coming from because he's in the limelight, and the limelight is beating on him, and for good reason, because he's, you know what I'm saying, what he has done, his resume.
11 championships.
Right, old as hell. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would want to be involved. You know, I love helping out the youth. I love helping out any way that I can. Yeah, I would be that one old head at the track meet. You know,
Back in my day,
I used to run in world championship final.
And I'll be at AAU with like a whole team, just trying to help people, you know, get to where they want to be, because I've been there, so I know what it takes. But looking back at it now, when I'm old, just was every year. Did I give it my best every year? You know, that's all that I want.
A theme that we've had ever since we heard Grant talking about his haters and doubters, which we didn't know, we can't find them anywhere.
I thought it was me, guys.
Besides Kayla, is asking, you know, what are the haters and doubters saying, and how do you respond to people who say, like, Joe, you know, he's never going to do this or that? Like, how do you respond to that? Right. Do you hear the noise, or do you find a way to block it out?
Firstly, I would say that I am Grant's number one hater. I am Grant's number one hater.
So you're the one who said he couldn't win this year.
No, he's a hater. He's not a doubter.
Not doubter, hater. It's me, guys. No. Do I hear the haters and doubters? Yeah, I hear them. Do I pay attention? No.
Do you have a lot of them? Because I just feel like you're a hard guy to hate.
I don't. See, the thing is, when you guys posted the reel on Instagram, I got like a little comment, and then I was like, "This is weird." You know,
the feature.
Yeah. I haven't had like a hate comment in like a while.
Yeah.
And then I look on his page, and then it says a D3 athlete. Wait.
Before you say your next word. Why would you say real close?
It said,
you said that to the wrong co-host.
It said retired D3 athlete, and he was talking about like how I can never like make it. And so I commented back, and then I was like, "Aren't you a D3 athlete?"
Oh my God!
I'm sorry, right? It's stuff like that. But there is no haters. I have no haters. You know, everyone that is with me supports me, and I only surround myself with people who like supports me. So,
Caitlin, do you have anything to say?
I just want to say you literally ruined it for the rest of Division III with your stupid comments. So.
I'm sorry. But yeah.
So Joe, where are we seeing you the rest of the season? What's going on now that this World Championships is starting to wind down?
Right. Going to Brussels. Then after Brussels, going to Diamond League final. Oh. And then I'm calling it a season.
Back to Eugene.
What do you do in your off season?
In my off season?
Yeah. Are you like, I'm just gonna go spend some time with family? We're gonna go get the lake if the weather is still good, or
gonna go catch some gators.
Yeah. Where do we go?
Catching gators is crazy. I'm not catching no gators. But spend time with family, you know, because I'm away from them 8 months out of the whole year. Jesus. And my mom came down for Christmas. I haven't seen her since. And then, so spending time with her, I lied. I saw her the week USA has happened because my whole training group is American and I'm not, and I can't go up there. So when they're at USA's, I go home and train over there. So I saw her then. But just spending time. I'm a family man, friend man, you know, I like my friends a lot. They're more family now because of the bonds that we made. Spend time with my dog, Ginger. I love her.
Why didn't you bring Ginger with you?
Look, if I could, I would.
I would have taken care of Ginger.
She is a child. She is a pup. Too much energy. But I love her to death, though. And just relaxing. Finding stuff that I was doing before track consumed my life. Like gaming or doing art or just being creative. You know, I'm not rapping, you know, but I'm doing the things that make me happy, because when I know that the season is here, those things dwindle down to like 0%. You know, so yeah.
You have to be a normal person for like a few weeks.
A few weeks. Oh, yeah.
How long is your between like the end of your season and like starting like fall training? Like how long is that?
I ended, my last meet was September 11th, and I didn't start training until December 4th.
Oh, that's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of time.
What do you do during that period?
Nothing.
Like actually nothing.
Nothing.
Oh,
Coach
wow.
says come back healthy. So I show up to fall training camp, 210, weighing 210.
What do you do, if I may ask?
I'm 190 right now.
Okay, so
190. No, yeah. That's
ground, boy.
Look, that's the other thing. You don't have in the college system. You start running in January, and then you don't stop running until June. But then you're good.
Continue.
Exactly. Then you go up until August, right? And then if you go sign a contract, you go up until, if you want to run meets after that, September, right? But you're running every other weekend in college. So you're racing and you're getting more reps and you're getting in shape faster. So when you go off to the pros and you have like two meets, two races before your actual main event. I had the relay, the 100, and then my 200. So I was already prepped. I'm like ready, you know. But in the circuit, you have to warm up to run 19.7. You have to warm up to run 9.8. So the different mental aspect to it and how you just go about it is just different from the collegiate to the pros. And anybody who says that, oh, it's not that hard, okay, I want you to line up with Andre, Kenny, Leslie, Noah,
Joe,
myself, Ariane, who else? Aaron Brown, who else?
Everybody,
Right. Andrew.
After getting glass in his eye yesterday, I don't know.
Exactly.
Right.
Or in the 400, Wade, Steven, Ryan, you know what I'm saying?
Antonio, that boy was running off pure
Heart and soul.
Yes.
What? And then you go out there, you go run, you know, with no coach, with no not system behind you, and go, you know what I'm saying, compete.
So easy to just sit here and just talk.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Track and field fans.
We just talk, you know. We're not. We don't have to do anything. I'm always like, I would have won personally. Like that would have been. Yeah.
Oh, I tell myself that every day, and then coach shows me very, very different.
No, you weren't on the cart, right?
No, I was not on the card. But when they ran, I saw them run, and it said heat 1 out of 3, and I was like, I was in heat 3 out of 3. What is happening? Like, what,
Did they tell you guys what was going on?
I only heard when I was done and I was like cooling down in the back. I was like, what happened? They had a crash?
Is everyone okay?
I'm saying.
It was so funny because when Noah went on his Instagram, he was like, survived a crash and still made it to finals. Like, you act like you were in a plane crash and like both of your arms fell off. I'm like, you weren't even the one that got hurt. It was Andrew.
It was like 2 go-karts. Obviously, he got glass in his eye, but
yes.
Yeah, and then the next day they had cones out. yo, they had cones to like down the ramp and inside and like beneath the stadium, because to not avoid, you know what I'm saying, to avoid the crash again.
Problem solved.
It was funny. And then we had 2 carts for the final. We had 2 carts, so everybody was, you know, okay.
Thankfully.
Joe, this was awesome. Thanks so much for sitting down with us.
Thank
I
you
know
for having me.
ASIC said you had to do it, but I know that you would have done it anyway. You sat down with us last year.
Of course.
As well, so.
And you did a podcast with me and Jasmine, so.
Reoccurring guest.
I'm
But
here for the people.
Joe, thanks so much. Always awesome talking with you, watching you race. Next up, after a short break, CITIUS MAG Live sitting down. CITIUS MAG Live sitting down with world champion Noah Lyles.
All right, Noah. You're the fastest man in the world. Have you processed that yet?
I sure have, because it feels so good.
It feels like you already knew you were the fastest man in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Now you've just proven it to other people.
Oh, yeah. Essentially, pretty much. I mean, back in Boston, I ain't gonna lie. Again, I learned that I'm the guy that everybody feels that if you get beat by this person, you're slow. And I figured out I'm the guy for that in the 100. And it gives you a lot of power, I'm not gonna lie. So when you start winning and everybody's like, I'm not slow. It's like, cool, I'm not slow either.
We love getting nerdy and technical with you.
Yeah.
For race execution on both of those, like, what would you grade them? What stood out to you really that led to 2 golds?
The 100, I'd say, would probably be an A minus. There was just probably the last few meters that I could have just been less trying to win the race and more just trying to keep my form. I feel I did an excellent job of trusting the plan, getting out, accelerating, and getting into that 60 meters knowing that I was, if not in the lead, right in the mix, and then taking it over from 80 on. But I feel like from 60 to 100, I feel I could have been more open in the stride and really gave it those last few powerful strikes into the ground. So that's why I'm going to give it like an A minus, because I still feel I could have ran faster. And even my coach was like, yeah, I wanted the 9.7. I was like, yeah, I really felt I was going to run 9.7.
What were you yelling in the semifinal right after the finish line?
Run it back.
Did you know right then and there, like, oh, the final's mine?
Oh yeah. I knew once I passed over Wall in the first round. Like y'all gotta remember, this guy was over in Africa, just over here claiming he was gonna be the world champion, in his own home. It's nice to do things in your own home of Africa, but you gotta bring that back to the rest of the world. I wanna see you on the Diamond League, the circuit. I want to see you in America. I want to see you at World Championships. Show me what it takes when you ain't got your crowd hooting and hollering and people are actually doubting you. You're like, let me see that person.
So when you're talking about the 100, you said the end part of the race wasn't 100% what you wanted, but you traded. Is it a trade to get that start right? Like, can you have the best?
No, I definitely felt that I still was able to do both things. I still did Noah Lyles stuff at the end of the race. But I was still able to do, accelerate better, even have a better first 10 meters. Like a lot of the numbers that I wanted to see this year that I wasn't seeing in the 60 back in, the winter months finally came through. It was like an exciting moment of like, finally. I just wish I didn't have to be in peak condition to actually see that. Like I wanted to be able to see that throughout the years.
And then obviously last night, the 200. Also, I mean, with all the camera crews falling and all that stuff, we got plenty of dramatics for that race with the semifinal, the crash and everything.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I thought for a second that someone has a hit out on you, and then it was all playing.
Yeah, the devil got a hit out for me.
So ultimately, like you put out the big numbers beforehand. We didn't see, what you wrote out that you were trying to manifest. So race execution wise, like where did things kind of not go according to plan?
In the 100, again, I just feel it was just a matter of, I had the top end speed. I was definitely trying to win the race. I feel I held my composure extremely well, but of course I could have put more energy into the track. I could have let my stride been a little more open and just gotten the maximum velocity of what I was doing. But at the same time, I put those times out there for myself. It's again a shoot for the stars. So if you fall, you land on the clouds situation. Even if I don't get 9.6, I still got 9.83, a new personal best, matched the fastest time in the world. That's a great achievement. And with the 200 as well, I knew from the first 2 steps it wasn't going to hit. I remember last year at World Championships, the first 2 steps I knew the race was over. With this one, it was like, I should already have caught Kenny. It's all right. I'm going to come off the turn in first. I'm going to win this race. I already know it. I have everything I need. I'm ready for if anybody tries to catch me in the last 5 meters, going back to London, I'm ready for each part of it. But, at the end of the day, when we look back at this World Championships, nobody's going to really remember the time. They're going to remember the medals. When I look back at my World Championships in 2019, nobody talks about that time. When we went into 2022, all people would talk about was I was the defending champion. Nobody said he's the defending champion that ran 19. I think I ran 86 or 88 there. It was just the defending champion. And as we continue to keep going, it's going to be defending champion.
What's the harder part of doing the double? And you're about to have a 7th race of the week. Is it the fact that you have so many races in a short period of time? Or is it having the skill set to be good at the 100 and the 200?
I'd say it's a lot closer to the skill set. It was so weird trying to train for both of them. And again, I don't think it could have happened any other year because I had to have such a dominance over one event. And that was, for me, the 200. So now I put more emphasis on the 100. Of course, running more 60. Of course, running more 100 meters this year. I think before the World Champs, I had run 4 or 5 200s all year. I had run way more hundreds throughout the year. And that was very weird for me because, that's not usually where I stay, but it's what needed to be done. So trying to find the duality between the two was a lot harder.
I mean, for you, we saw you race, you just mentioned it, just like from indoors. Is it just for you early on thinking with Coach Brahman, like, this is the plan for next year? Like, it's a good thing that the biggest star in the sport races a lot. The fans want to see it. For you, are you meticulously already starting to think of what that blueprint looks like to get to Paris?
I mean, this year was the blueprint. This was everything that we wanted to achieve. And the exciting thing is that we accomplished it. There wasn't that, well, we'll do better at it next time. It's like, no, we did it. What can we add or what can we, get better at? It's double world champ, man. Like, I'm literally we were coming over to the hospitality yesterday and I just couldn't get that out of my mind. Like, again, the last person to do it, Bolt. Like, you would thought that somebody would have done it by now, but no, it hadn't. And it's so hard to do. And 5 men in the world ever have done it in World Championship history. It blows my mind that the number is that low. And when you look at the list, it's like people who have either world records or they have American records or whatever their national records are. Like, those are the only people who have done it. And it's like, well, shoot, I felt like I was the only one who really could do it.
As you've gained more fans, you've also gained more haters.
Oh, of course. Comes with the territory.
Right? And so I guess, how's that ratio right now after this week? But then also, what are they saying now? What's going to be the thing that you're hearing that's the new chip on your shoulder?
I'd say that I shut up a lot of the haters for now with that 100. So I haven't heard them in a while. They might come back next year. They probably will be back. They're always going to be back. But like Kanye says, screams for the haters got a nice ring to it. I mean, you can't have haters unless you're doing something right. They got to be mad at you for something. You're winning too much. That's what you're mad at? I'm winning too much? Oh, okay. But what was the second part of the question? I had an answer. I just can't remember.
The ratio, and
yeah.
then I guess what are they saying?
Yeah, like I said, I haven't heard from them in a while. But I will say that after gaining the support of Jamaica shuts a lot of them haters up for me. And it's really fun to see.
So I know you've listened to our show a bit this week because
you
came in here, telling us. And something that we've had as a theme is like, what would Vince McMahon do? Meaning, like, what would be the most interesting storyline from a fan's perspective, from the outside looking in? What is the most interesting storyline that can happen between now and Paris from a fan's perspective?
I think it has to be Fred coming out for revenge. Like,
he told us he's out of blood.
Oh, definitely. And I would expect nothing less for him, to be honest. Like, if that was me, I would be saying the exact same thing. A fire igniting under the belly. I mean, it happened to Arion too. You know, if we look at Ariane's career, you know, he went from running really fast in the early parts of the season to kind of, you know, seeing his peak kind of fall off as he got to the later part. This time he was like, no, I'm not having that happen. You know, he's very even on his buildup and making sure that he was going to be ready for this World Championships. And I think, you know, as Fred looks at this, you know, he tried the double, and that's, again, it's hard to do the duality of mixing the two. So whatever he's learned, he's probably going to take into the next World Champs with a huge fire and saying, you know, I'm going to, you know, make sure that they know that I'm the one, especially with him having that silver. So definitely, you know, again, having that burning desire. But at the same time, I get off on knowing people are coming. Like, that only gets me more excited. And now that I'm really starting to figure out this start and acceleration, woo, let's get back to practice, man. I don't even want to go on break no more.
All right, so no, I got the sign. You know, you have very limited time to slow down the world's fastest man so you know we've got another 3-hour podcast. You promised me.
Oh, definitely.
What do you think of the ending to part 2 now? Like, the filming is going to be done soon. Do you think the fans are going to be happy with this?
Oh gosh, the perfect exclamation point. I mean, literally, we touched on almost everything that we did in the first part here in the World Championships. We touched on, you know, handling the 200. We touched on handling the 100. You know, building throughout the rounds, drama. You know, we got the excitement of the family and the team coming together, seeing it all happen at once, you know, culminating at one point, getting the double, you know, now about to go after the triple, you know, having the hats, having, you know, the media, you know, pushing the sport forward, you know, them, you know, Netflix now coming out and being like, oh, wow, you know, this is what Noah did. And, you know, now Netflix is going to do their thing and everybody is, you know, gaining on this train. It's like, wow, you know, I want to see what happened. And then we have the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Didn't get the world record.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the team that you have behind you, you know, Adidas, Omega, the staff that you have on hand. Is there any shortage of people to celebrate with?
No. But the funniest thing is, all I need is my family, to be honest. You know, then that's a topic is really not talked about enough. As you get higher and higher, your circle of who you can trust gets smaller and smaller. And you got to be very careful with who you celebrate with, because there are some people who just want to celebrate with you because you did well. And there are people who want to celebrate with you because they seen what you did. Like my god sister Talitha, I'm so proud of her, abundantly proud of her. Not because that she, you know, ran fast or anything, but she has had a hard season. She went from being an American record holder in the indoor season to having it taken away from her at NCAAs and having a rocky, you know, NCs outdoor, and then making the team and then making the final, approving one point what she's done last year. You know, I just always want to be able to speak life into her, because it's hard to step back and look at what you've done. But when you have somebody like a family or me to be able to come back and say, hey, take the load off and look at what you actually did. You know, those are the people you want to keep close to you.
Count us in the family, Noah. Thanks for sitting down with us. Appreciate
No problem. But
E6. Sound mind, sound body. 365 days. 1 year until history is made.